Welcome everybody. Tracking Microbes number 19. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm here. I'm good.
I'm good, man.
Real good.
Doing good, doing good.
How's everybody doing tonight? I'm here. I'm good.
Pull up the stream right now and see what's up in chat.
Real good.
Somebody needs to mute their mic.
Yeah, I know. I just did. It just popped up for a second.
So what's going on, everybody?
Just drawing up a hand.
Looks like we got Plant Builder just stepped in the last second.
Yes, he did. PB.
So what's going on, everybody? Hi-yo. Oh, wait, our mic's Plant Builder just stepped.
Oh shit! Did I just drop out now? Okay, good. What's up, Plant Builder? How you doing, man?
I'm good, thanks.
That should do it.
Good, thanks. I just stepped in the door here. Had to run back to make 8 o'clock. Very happy to be here. Give me a second to just settle down.
Yeah, no, it's good to have you on the show, man.
Trichome Chaser for having me.
For whatever, man.
Trying to get you on here for a while. Glad you came on.
So
I have a camera.
let's
that works.
coming through.
Yeah,
Let's do a little garden update. Wookiee, you want to update the people?
Yeah, I guess I should. Yeah, so no. I'm more than happy to share. So, so we had a little mishap yesterday in the garden. We're on like day 27 of flower, 26, something like that, and came home, and the flood table, the stand that the flood table sits on collapsed in the flower tent. So mid flood, it filled up with water, and the weight from the water just caused the table to just collapse. So it wasn't too bad. It didn't fully fall to the floor, but so I got in there and I was trying to fix it and kind of stabilize it and bring it back up, and in that process it dropped to the floor, and yeah, it's a total loss here. The way everything was weaved into the trellises, there was no recovering from it. I mean, basically it was like I was talking to Mouse this morning. He was saying it sounds like it was basically like like a hangman noose. Like the floor dropped out from underneath them, and the plants are just hanging from their, just kind of up in that trellis. So so I mean, even like the pots are dropping, and the root balls were almost coming out of the pots. So it was definitely no recovering from that. So we went ahead and wiped it out. And what we're doing is, it's bad and it's good though, because we have we're doing a new light. We've had plans to do this new light, so I've been working with Grow Mouse, and he's kind of helping me put everything together, and he's actually doing most of the work. But we wanted to put those lights in there, but with the height that we had and the stretch that we got from those plants, the lights weren't going to fit very well. So this is good that we can kind of reset, and what we're going to do is we're not going to rent in tents anymore. We got a whole room that we're going to kind of build out. Start small with just maybe like one tray, and then we'll be able to expand in the future as we go. But we're going to we'll be able to hang the lights from the ceiling, which will give us an extra 2 to 3 feet of height. I'm building a new stand, proper stand out of 2x4s that'll be able to hold much more weight, and we won't make the same mistake again. But it's good, because we got clones of everything, so we didn't lose the genetics, and we'll be able to give it a full run, and minimize some of these risks and make sure we don't do that shit again. But other than that, I mean, the veg is doing fine. All the clones look really healthy, and so we'll be posting some updates on YouTube here soon.
You know how big that tray is going to be? I could sketch up that table for you if you want.
Oh no, it's all right. I already got it. It's already halfway assembled. I started working on it today, so but it's 4x4, so.
Yep.
My light's done, minus the fans. I
Oh
lost
yeah.
all that.
Hi guys. So yeah, update us, man. How's the light? How's the light? Are you happy with the bill? Is it?
No,
How's it
yeah, I
looking?
mean, it just been fucking kind of, not kind of. I've been pretty angry the last couple days after. I mean, you guys know what's going on with my landlord, but
Mm-hmm.
no. So I just been lazy and haven't taken like a nice looking picture of it to put up on Instagram yet. But I think some guys in the stream the other night got to see me. I can go grab it really quick. It's not like it's fucking far away. Just show it off really quick.
Where is height?
I gotta say, it looked pretty damn good. For fucking cutting out all by hand, it looked real clean, you know?
Yeah, I've been liking what I've seen so far, man.
Yeah, I know.
I got.
In the future, I'm definitely not gonna cut a frame by hand again. That's
Yeah.
like that was like a 2-week job.
That's just good though, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing stuff and doing it the wrong way and finding out that it was the wrong way. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. That's science at work right there.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. I mean, you make mistakes and you learn from them. But I mean, it looks like you fucking did a pretty good job, anyways, man. I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah,
yeah.
this doesn't look like a mistake.
Yeah, no, I just did it the hard way. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Kind of see it right there on the camera. There's like a gap right here.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know, they don't line up perfectly, but
That'll let some airflow go through there, you know. Cool it down.
exactly. And this is the back.
Intentional.
I mean, not all the fans are on there right now, obviously.
Yeah.
It's not necessary, but I got my plug-in right here, my 12 volt, my 120 volt plug-in. Got a little switch on it. I got 3 individual switches, and eventually I'll be able to control every channel. And then my dimming knobs, my potentiometers.
Are those 0 to 10 volt potentiometers?
Yeah, and they're kind of.
Where'd you get those?
Amazon, but they're kind of not that good. Like I had to be really careful when I soldered to them. They have these really tiny leads, so I honestly got them because they came with these cool little gold caps for the potentiometer. So you know, it just made my light look cool. But,
yeah, I haven't even found like a knob potentiometer like that. Just a simple one. Maybe I'm just not.
It's been like a 100,000 ohm linear
Okay.
potentiometer on Amazon. You should find it.
Word. That's looking good, dude.
Thank you.
Digging it. So what about you, Photon? What's been going on with you, man?
Did I help my grandma move today? But I'm working on Hans' frame right now. My screen sharing. Yeah. So I've just had this idea that like maybe his cob bars, he's gonna have 3 bars coming across here. Maybe those should be able to rotate a little bit. So I'm gonna mess around with that idea tonight, kind of while we're in the live stream. Just gonna be
Talking about like an adjustment, something you can adjust, or are you talking about like something that's they actually going to rotate during operation?
like you can adjust it, so you could like point your lights, you know, towards the outside if you had like more plants during veg, or point them towards the inside if you only had like one big ass plant.
Oh, word, yeah, that's dope.
Let's be able to rotate like 15 degrees one way or another.
I thought you were rigging up some like badass light spinners or something.
Yeah, that'd be sweet too.
Yeah, I know that. I
Oh,
like that. The ability to select your beam angle, or not necessarily your beam angle, but your focus point, and adjust your footprint of each individual diode. That's dope.
Yeah.
See, man, that's what happens when you have expensive software and a good brain. Start pumping out all this
Yo,
shit.
somebody who can get on Instagram, forward the link to One Shot. I can't get on IG right now, so.
I could probably take care of that. Hang on.
Yeah, Wookiee's a social media guy. I don't even know where my phone is.
Yeah, works on it. Yeah, I don't even know where my phone is right now.
What about you, Plant Builder? What's going on in your garden this week? Well, I mean, this is the first time we're talking to you, so I mean, why don't you just go ahead and give us a rundown on you know, what your grow setup is, you know, just go crazy.
What? Obliging me. First of all, what garden? Yeah, you don't even know me. But I do have a garden, and I have attained the ability to grow illegally in Canada for the first time under the new program, the ACMPR. So today I fed, God forbid, I fed my plants for the first time. That means I went to the good old hydro shop this morning, and that was fun. It's like my wheelhouse. I first started in a hydroponic store here in Vancouver in 1998 as a young little whippersnapper. Way back when, and the young lad I was talking to, he said, of course, that he was born in 1997. So it's pretty crazy to think that like a whole generation has like seeded, grown up, and become young little men in like this whole tank, you know, this whole period, 20 years. And yet the optic, and yet the business, and yet a hydroponic store really fundamentally hasn't changed at all since I began. So that was fun, going to the hydro store, buying some treats. Now I call my garden an art project. It is not a functional garden. Its purpose is not to supply me with the copious amount of medicine that I have declared necessary in my life. But it is a start, and it is, of course, bound. So what does it look like? It looks like a fucking 3x3 tent in about 23, 4.5-inch containers right now with seedlings in them. And I went ahead and purchased a little CFL, the 2x2 Pro Light fixture. And of course, I think that thing's going to last probably maybe 4 to 5 weeks in the art project before getting ousted to sort of the massive garbage pile that is products in the hydroponic industry. So yeah, I put these plants into these 4.5-inch pots about 3 weeks ago and started seeds. There's like a dry amended organic mix. I know y'all love that in here. Sitting at 8 to 1 parts at the bottom and 12 to 1 parts at the top. And that was the only ingredient. There's just like 3 inputs, basically: tent, light, pots, dirt, some seeds, and then this sort of dry amended compost mixture, and then the addition of core only. And I ended up sort of getting in a jam with all those physical components tied together, and therefore heading off to the old Pacific Northwest Garden Supply this morning. And I think I'll just leave the update at that. That was today, a brief description of what's in my garden. Now, don't get too sad. The last garden I built was 130 kilowatts. I've been professionally growing since 2006 after leaving sort of the industry per se. I know all sorts of stuff, so don't be sad that it's just a wee little garden. There's a big brain in it with lots of experience. So thanks for listening. I'll relight my joint.
For sure, man. Yeah, tell us a little bit about your YouTube channel, bro. You do the cannabis discussion on there.
Oh yeah,
what else
yeah.
you got going on?
First of all, I wanted to just say thanks for having me. This is literally my very first YouTube collaborative effort ever. Aside from, of course, trolling other people's chats. But as far as getting onto the Hangout or panel, this is a first for me. So I want to say thank you, and I want to congratulate you for your bravery, and also the quality and depth that you get into topics that I've been listening to on the weekends and weekdays, digging right as far as you can get, so your fingernails get bloody and dirty. And so I really like that. This is fun and new for me. And yeah, I decided I was going to go on YouTube like everyone else does, it literally was what they call like social media envy or Facebook envy, as I've read articles on it. I was watching Hash Church and just getting livid, becoming literally upset with some of the ridiculous things being made, to the point where I literally, felt it, that I was filming myself in the reactive state and realizing that this is a meme and things that people do. And so I was getting livid watching the show. And of course, if you can't beat them, join them. And therefore I joined the foray, started putting my voice onto YouTube every Sunday night, and have done so for 68 consecutive Sundays since that point. So that's about a year and a third or so.
I'll definitely go through and check those out.
That channel is Plant Builder on YouTube. And you're free to check it out, subscribe and like and all that stuff. And yeah, and there's other stuff. So far, it's a growing channel per se. But I was able to get out to a conference where Ethan Russo was speaking at SFU and just on a tripod record the whole thing and post it up to YouTube. So look forward to stuff like that if you can't handle the other FaceTime stuff.
Hell yeah, dude.
So shout out to all the Trichome chasers, every one of you, and the chat, of course, and Tony B and the rest of the gang out there. Love you, and we'll see what happens here. I'm certainly happy to be here and listen and do this for the next few hours and have the ability to chime in and clarify what I'm, typing tersely into chat. I'm excited, so it should be fun.
Yeah, welcome, brother.
Indeed.
Cheers.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I can't really speak for the rest of the panel. I'm one of the newer growers and probably one of the younger ones on the panel, but I don't know. I love when I can get that old school knowledge that's free of the anecdote and the bro science. So,
oh yeah,
it's nice to find an experienced guy who is excited to be here. You know what I mean? Rather than looking for cred. So that's where we're about here.
Yay, and I'm not here to sell anything either. And technically I'm a Gen Y or a Gen Xer, and I stand on the shoulders, of course, my teachers like Legend Seeds and Breeder Steve and all those jokers that, put me to where I am today. So literally in this sort of like 30, 40 year paradigm that is cannabis, I'm in the middle ground for sure. I was one of the babies when I started. And
we all start somewhere. It's just about your willingness to pass your knowledge on to that next generation and that free open source.
You can turn the knowledge around and utilize it, and if you do one outdoor run a year, I mean, you can only put so much work because you only get one chance per swing. If you can get 4 or 5 rooms going at a time, or you start getting multiple strains going, you can obviously cram in a lot more trial and error than you would, one run a year. So it's nice.
That was the store, and we called it the tool. At least my boss did, and I encourage any young lads to get out there and work in a hydro shop, because that's exactly what happens. You then have a client base of say 100 to 500 people telling you what's happening in their garden, and you're the nexus point for it all. So in those like first 2-3 years of my hydro career and my first like foray into cannabis, I was in the right spot to just suck all that information out of people. And I, of course, did it willingly. Like, I was the investigator. And somewhere along the line, I got told, in the trade show of products and shaking hands and meeting all these people who are all selling these wonderful things, someone just told me flat out, they said, look, you're an informationalist. I see what you do and what you're doing, and you're in charge of the information and not in charge of products. So I took that to heart. There's no book or anything per se, but there's now 68 episodes that are 2 hours long. So there's 100+ hours of yammering about this topic already. And like, we haven't even scratched the surface. And I just got here.
Right on, bro. Well, I heard the homie World's One Shot jumped in there. What's up with you, bro? Saw what happened on Instagram, man. I'm really sorry to hear that, bro. We've all been talking about you, and man, I hope you're healing well, bro.
Yeah, it's definitely a very painful fucking little journey going on here, but it was me, the house, or it was me or the house. So I'm glad it was me. It was not something stupid I was doing. I was literally just cooking fucking lunch, and a little tiny bit of oil touched the fire and went right back into the pot and started to go up the wall. I had one choice: fucking get it outside or let the house go up. So get the animals, get everybody the fuck out the way, throw it the fuck outside, grab the hose, put it out, walk inside. Oh, fuck, look, the little couch is on fire. Put that the fuck out, go inside, put everything on the counter that's fucking on fire out, and then evaluate the house, try to cover up some of the shit. Immediately, I hear a fucking fire truck and a cop car go off. I'm like, oh, fuck, they're already on their way. Are you fucking kidding me? House is full of fucking smoke. Fire alarms are going off. So I'm trying to air out the house as fast as I fucking can, making sure that everybody else is okay. And then I look down, I'm like, okay, so now how bad am I fucking hurt? Oh, cool. I don't have any fucking skin on my left hand. Sweet.
Damn.
Wow.
I saw those pictures,
Switch
bro.
fucking hands. Well, I had to switch fucking hands to the door. It was a sliding glass door. So it got both hands, but it got my left hand really fucking bad. Thankfully, it was house, not the pets, not the family. I took the blow, but fuck, dude. I paid for it, but it could have been a whole lot fucking worse.
That's true, man. That shit's crazy.
Yeah, I'm glad you're all right, man. Jeez.
Yeah, look at the pictures on my fucking Instagram, though. I mean, they're definitely not for the squeamish. Let's put it that way.
Word.
Damn, did you have any trouble with the cops or anything?
No, thankfully, they were actually going somewhere else, but I was like, okay, I need to make sure the burn holes are fucking covered. I'm somewhat straight where I can, talk if I need to, make sure that nobody else is freaking out. There's no fucking smoke in the house or anything else like that. Yeah, I had to react really, really fucking fast, but thankfully nothing happened, and I ended up getting a hold of my wife, and she took me to the hospital, and we sat there for 6 fucking hours. They just kept giving me liquid narcos every, 45 minutes, and I'm 6 in, hadn't eaten that day because I was making fucking lunch. And I'm like, dude, I'm just shaking. I'm in so much fucking pain still. It's just fuck. So yeah, garden's been a little slow. Been working one-handed, actually just fucking two-fingered. But I kind of got another veg room put together. Got my room flowered. They got their first flower feed yesterday. They got the Calphos fermented fruit juice, an early one. They got fish amino acid, salmon one. Oriental herbal nutrient, IMO, a little bit of silica from bamboo and horsetail. But yeah, they're taking right off. Those things are beasts. Those things are gonna fill out really nice.
Right on, bro. So maybe we should jump to Blunt real quick, man. Before we go to SoCal, because SoCal's got a couple little announcements and stuff going on. But what's up with you, Blunt?
Don't forget about Phantom. Oh wait, did we go through Phantom? I'm high. I don't know.
Yeah, Phantom.
Talk about my garden a little more.
He talked about the frames and what he's doing with the frames.
Yeah, I talked about just Hans's frame for a minute.
We never really talk about your garden, man. You're always on SolidWorks and shit.
Yeah, Photon, tell us about your garden, bro. What do you got in there?
I don't know how to go. So that's my dog.
What up, dog?
You can see my veg room right here. Is just this is where I veg and clone at. Is in a bathroom downstairs. It's I have two 2x3 areas stacked on top of each other. The bottom one is for cloning. The top one's for the seedlings and new transplants. And then upstairs, I got 2 4x10s. I might be able to screen share or something. Actually, don't do.
Okay, is that a HPS?
Yeah, it was. So
Trader.
Yeah, right. Well, this was one of the first LED panels.
I'm just talking shit, dude. I'm just talking shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you got veg area downstairs. And you said a couple 4x8s upstairs.
Yeah.
Decent size.
And I ducked everything out in 8-inch tubes. I got 2 8-inch that go into a 10-inch, and then that goes into my 14-inch fan out in the garage that blows into a carbon filter.
There you go.
So everything's out in the garage. There's no fan noises in the house. It's pretty nice.
That's dope.
And then I got now this is before I had drain tables, but I had drain tables now that I made troughs for at the end, and then those Y into a hose, and then the hose goes down through the floor into the garage. So then all my runoff just automatically gets taken care of.
Word.
So I got it set up now.
Nice, dude.
And I got like a 30-gallon water tank up there that I plumbed a line up to. So I just have water right there, and then I mix my nutrients in, and got a couple lines coming off of that tank. So yeah, pretty set up.
Nice, dude. Sounds legit.
Yeah, these are actually really old pictures. I don't know.
You get your lungs back over there, Blunt?
Yeah. Yeah, I can breathe again. You caught me like literally as soon as I let out the dab.
What's up with you, bro?
If you could just throw in the chat what kind of light you mean for a 1K, because like an HPS, yeah, that sounds about right for 5x5. But in the chat, I'm doing a dab, so I couldn't type that back. So he's asking if 1,000 covers a 5x5.
Yes.
I get to perform my function here. I have no idea.
We'll cover a 5x5. It's preferred a 4x4, but a double ender can do a 5x5. It can push a 6x6.
Yeah. Thank you for saying 6x6.
It's like my flower. I rock 2K, and it's a 12x6.
Oh fuck.
So what's going on with you, Blunt?
I don't know. Probably about the same exact update that I gave last week. I still got to flip this one room. I didn't do it last week. Was trying to figure out what I'm doing with this light build and whether I was gonna get it up before I flipped it, or if I was fine with getting it up like the second week like I did with the other flip, and I'm just gonna do that. So I'm gonna flip it tomorrow.
Word.
But yeah, everything's looking good. Fucking yeah, I don't know. I'm real excited for these Band-Aid hazed Durbans.
That's
and the purple Wookiee.
Interesting cross. Is that headband? Is that the headband for the Band-Aid?
The Band-Aid haze is the Cuban black haze crossed to the A5 high.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna do the same thing I did to Blunt and catch you in a cough here. So, Cal, what's going on with you, bro?
I know. I try to sneak that one in. Not a lot, man. Pretty same thing as Blunt. Kind of same stuff going on as last week as far as the garden goes. I did flip over in the bloom. Well, I also want to welcome Plant Builder. Nice to have you on here. Looking forward to hearing your knowledge as well. But yeah, as far as the garden goes, I don't have a whole lot to update on that. But as you know, as time goes on, I'll have some more videos up on the blooming process and all that. And for people who don't know, I run Super Soil, but I'm also running Botanicare Kind. When the kinds all ran up, all dried up, I'm going to be pure Super Soil. I've already started to get my amendments to make my Super Soil. I'm very interested in Korean natural farming. I've been talking to Blunt and High and Borealis a little bit about the Korean natural farming, so I'm going to probably dabble into that a little bit with some earth boxes, but for now, just going to run what I'm running. As far as the giveaway, I have a giveaway going on. When I hit 5,000 subs, I'm going to be giving away a pack of 9-pound hammer, as well as an LED light and a pack of root riots and some cloning gel. I got kind of like a whole grow pack going on. And I wasn't going to break it up and do it, like 3 different giveaways, but instead we decided to just go ahead and just do the one full giveaway to somebody. I'm going to make a video of it on Monday or Tuesday, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can get that video in your inbox, and that'll give you basically directions on how to get your name entered in the giveaway. And then it's probably going to be, I'd say, maybe next Saturday, maybe the Saturday after that, we'll announce the winner on the Trichome Chasers TV.
Okay, so we're not starting it tonight. We're gonna wait till you get to 5,000.
Well, no, I don't think we're gonna. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and do a video, and that'll when I do the video, that'll give everybody, an idea of what they need to do. Because since we're not using that Gleam program, I think it kind of confuses a little bit. But yeah, I definitely got to get to 5,000 before we do the giveaway for sure.
Oh no, I thought we were using the Gleam. No.
Well, I thought we couldn't get enough
Oh, okay.
people on there.
We'll chat about it offline.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit, and then when I put that video up on, look for the video between Monday and Wednesday, and we'll have more info for you there. But just go to YouTube and go to SoCal's Cannabis Garden, and yeah.
Nice. Hey, SoCal, you mentioned that you wanted to start dipping into the KNFT when the 10K runs out. Advice for that. Just start making them now, because all your inputs are good for over a year. So that way, like, you can use it until you want. They do take a little while to round everything up. So if you slowly start making everything, you'll have everything by the time everything starts running out.
You talking about the super soil?
No, you said the Korean natural farming.
Oh, okay.
And trying to switch to the Korean natural farming.
Yeah, start making stuff now. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, go ahead and start, because everything's got over a year's shelf life. It's not like it's going to go bad.
Okay. Yeah, well, I've got to see if that's for sure what I want to do, but I really like the idea of using, basically food, and I've been talking to Blunt and, and High, and I've been feeding my plants some of the yucca, some of the yucca and some of the aloe vera plant, as well as some coconut water, and they're just loving it. So it's just got, I'm a real clean eater, so it just makes sense, it kind of transfers over to growing and stuff, for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, dude, definitely look over onto my page. Also on Instagram, I've got a lot of inputs that you can make yourself, and I haven't used a bottle in 4 or 5 years. The only thing I usually buy is yucca, or not even yucca, neem oil.
Okay, yeah, nice.
Speaking of clean eating, I got a 4x4 area in one of my tents upstairs dedicated to actually like edible food. So I got a bunch of spinach and romaine and strawberries growing right now.
Nice.
The spinach is actually taken off. It was like super easy to grow. I just like threw seeds in a tray and put a little bit of dirt on top of them, and like a week later, I had 100 seedlings.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah, dude, microgreens actually, like when you just pop them, like how when we use our seed sprout teas for our our enzymes. If you just straight up pop seeds and have them grow just like 6 inches or below, and you harvest those actually have higher nutritional value than if you ate a whole entire head of cabbage. It would be about 8 times more nutritional value in the small seed sprout form. Yeah.
My roommate's like nutritionist, dietitian, whatever the actual certified one is. So he like recommended the greens to grow, and yeah, we're growing our own shit now.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a 2,000-year-old technique, but they actually, my uncle actually took a course in college that was called farming with ferments. That was pretty much the same thing. But yeah, it's been around for a very long time.
The Korean natural farming? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to get on my organic shit. I've just been, I've always been just more interested in the lighting aspect of growing, so I never like worried about nutrients. I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get the bottles and go for it. But now that I got this lighting thing down, start tackling something else.
That's the one thing that's so awesome about this plant is like there's really so many different aspects that you can really spend 20, 30 years on one little teeny tiny aspect, and you can never, still not even master it. Like like Elaine Ingham has been in soil biology for 35 years, and she's still learning new things.
Yeah. Keep it real.
But yeah, shout out to the chat. I see a bunch of the regulars here, man. And I also see Mr. PC Grows, my giveaway winner from a couple weeks ago. So shout out to you, man. Glad to see you in the chat. Saw you this morning on Growmaster's stream. So good to see you hanging around, man. I'm glad somebody won that's part of the community, bro. That's what's up.
Yeah, he said he was at the post office today or something, right?
Yeah, I think he got his package today, so that's what's up.
Sweet.
actually had a really very nice friend that I was helping, giving advice to growing this year. I was running pretty low on meds, and he actually swooped by and dropped me a pretty nice fucking sack of a little bit of everything he grew this year. But yeah, it was very much needed and very much appreciated. And it's all Korean natural farming. I know it's all super clean, so it's even better.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for me to switch over. I don't know for sure if I'm going to yet. I might just do like one of those earth boxes, but you know, I've just really enjoyed using my super soil for the last 5 years, and it's just really easy. And,
the one thing I was gonna say one thing that's super killer about super soil. If you just do straight the super soil and not the kind line, because the kind line's got synthetics in it, so the salts are actually killing your microbes in there. But with super soil, it's literally meant to either be just fed bacteria, fed enzymes, or just be watered. Like it's either meant to be pushed or sped up, or just let it do its thing. It doesn't really need any extras. Like for the kind line, like you could, I mean, the karma is literally just kelp. I mean, you can feed liquid kelp. That's not hard. You can make that yourself. But switching, that's the one thing that's really awesome about people that like using any synthetic line to switching over to the Korean natural farming is because they can push the nutrients the same way that you would synthetically, but you're doing it organically, and the plants just respond just a little bit different, but they take it just about the same way because you're just giving them a concentrated food source, and they're just, the microbes eat it much quicker. And it's like pretty much if you just took your cannabis leaves and you put them on your ground for mulch, it's going to take like anywhere from 3 weeks, depending on how active your worms are, to up to 6 months, depending on how, like, you know, good your microbial and fungal life is in your soil. And if you just barely push it with the Korean natural farming, you're pretty much, you can ferment the leaves and you're composting them down on the microbial level, giving them back to the plant so they can actually eat them 20 times faster than they would even if you just try to make a tea with them, honestly. And you're just getting all the benefits back to them. And then, like, they love being fed themselves. Any plant loves to be fed itself. Like even Elaine Ingham, that's trying to get people, the agricultural farmers, she even says if you're running synthetics every year and you're noticing your loss of life in your soil and your yields are going down, you need to switch to organics. And she's like, just literally the first year, don't do synthetics. Just grow a crop and then till it into itself. The next year, do it full organics, and then you'll notice you're going to get about 3/4 of your weight from that you would with synthetics. The next year, you're going to get the same weight as you would. The next year, your weight's going to increase, and then every year after that, your yield is just going to increase. It's just like how the jungle works. Nobody tills it, nobody feeds it. It just composts itself. But
one thing you never want to do is feed a synthetic super soil. That's counterproductive because super soil is organic. So if you ever if your super soil poops out halfway through bloom, you want to, you can top dress, but top dressing takes a while, so your plant's gonna cannibalize, a lot before those nutrients are able to seep into the soil. So, at that point, you have to feed an organic liquid nutrient. But if you've been doing super soil for as long as I have, then you know how much super soil to put in there, and you don't run out of gas.
Exactly.
But I have one side of my room super soil, and then the other side is the kind nutrient. And, the difference is I get bigger leaves, I get bigger stalks, and I get faster growth with the kind. But as far as the yield goes, I would say it's very, very close with the super soil and this, versus the synthetics that I'm using. But as far as the sweetness, the taste, and the way it burns, you can't beat the organic. You can't beat it.
The way I try to describe it, organics or synthetics to people look-wise, is if you've got a farm boy that's been throwing hay bales all day long, that's just what he does. He lives on a farm. Versus a weightlifter that's been pumping steroids, or a guy that went and got fucking pectoral implants. That guy ain't strong. He looks strong. He might look good, but he ain't naturally strong. The farm boy's going to whoop his ass when it comes down to it. And plants that grow near nuclear factories, yeah, they might be huge. They might be beasts. You probably don't want to eat them, though. And mainly the synthetics are actually bigger stalks because they're way higher metal content. So they're literally being built from metal. But then again, when you're talking about hash, in my opinion, when you do organics and Korean natural farming using a lot of amino acids, you're using a lot of D vitamins and fish oils. And your OHN is definitely they just increase your essential oils in your plant naturally. So your glands, I feel, are more greasy, sticky. So you actually get higher melting resin with your bubble hacks. Like, you get like 9 out of 10 of your strains will melt versus synthetics where you only get maybe like a 4 out of 10. Just because I feel like you're feeding the plant metal, so the glands are literally being built from metal. You know, when you flush, doesn't matter how much you put through it. If I feed you just fucking carrots for 30 days, guess what? You're gonna turn orange. You know what I'm saying? Like, eventually, fucking from it. Like but if you start feeding everything that's almost a sugar base and an alcohol base, where the plant can availably absorb it how it wants to. Everything, your Brix levels are much higher, which actually gives you a better nutritional content, which makes everything healthier for you in the end.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, a lot of synthetics too. If you don't get them out of there and you smoke it, you get that weird, like, I don't know. I have pretty good taste buds, but I get that little like sting, like weird sting on the end of my tongue. You know, it's almost like you can taste that nutrient there. You know,
and it's trace mineral. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm even organic spoiled. Like, if certain people put too many things in their soil, I can taste it. I'm like, you fed phosphorus too long. You fed bat guano too long. You
exactly.
fed trace minerals. You fed too much nitrogen. You have too much of this in your soil. You have too much of this in your soil. You can literally taste it. That's one thing. That's another thing that I actually really like about the Korean natural farming is you can really take soil that has not much in it and baby it and just give it the food right back and start adding the life to it. And you can start getting soil that's lacking the food but has the life. So you can just barely add the food and it'll metabolize it super quick. And then you can get them to fade whenever the fuck you want, because they're just like, they're running almost hydro because there's nothing there. You know what I'm saying? They're almost like a straight fucking cocoa base at that point. But that's like if you're running super small pots and everything else. But like, you know, it's just all life based. It's kind of cool. If you actually just look at your feed buckets, you can see hell of tiny trillions of little tiny dots that are just barely fucking moving. But like, yeah, it's cool because they actually, dude, just life are attracted to the sugar content and the alcohol content. I don't know why, but like, you'll start getting bugs that are trying to like just suck on your bottles, like, and then like you'll get hella fucking mycelial growth. And then the your predator mites will actually start rummaging around and start eating the carbon-based material. And then you have springtails that'll come up and start eating your mycelium. Your predator mites will eat your springtails and compost them. Your worms will go around and just eat everything and make nice air holes and aerate your soil and make a super even microbial balanced food source. And then, yeah, it just all balances out and they all eat each other and they love mycelium though. And if you start, it's funny because when we first started learning about predator mites, everybody was treating them. What happens when you treat a predator mite? They get fucking pissed off. They get big and they breed and they just get pissed off. Like, it's funny. But yeah, they'll dominate everything.
What happened last year.
Oh yeah, if you start treating
some spider mites. I tried to treat some spider mites and I thought they were thrips, so I like sprayed the wrong pesticides. Like, I know it's bad to just spray pesticides in general, but I even sprayed the wrong ones, so I killed off all their natural predators. And like 3 days later, it was like a fucking just spider mite bloom. It was like an algae bloom in my garden. Just fucking spider webs everywhere, draped over every plant. I was so pissed.
I was talking too about spider mite control, as a lot of people don't understand. Do not go nuclear warfare off the bat. There's no reason in dropping a nuke if something's going to live. If you drop that nuke and it lives, guess what? All the babies are now immune to what the fuck you sprayed.
Yeah.
So you need to not avid, you need to not silver equal 20, you need to not fluoromite. You need to start off basic and work your way up. You need to control it. John Cullen from growingyourgreens.com, when he talks about pests, you know what the number one thing he says you need to do? Physical eradication first. You go in there by hand. You take all the damage that you can physically see, and you actually try to go in there and kill them by hand. And then you
clipping all the, like, any marks you see in the beginning is going to be extremely helpful. You know, you can mitigate the risk for a long time, but you know, you got to eradicate them somehow.
Still awake over there, Wookiee?
What do you think?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm eating dinner.
Oh, nice.
But I did want to just chime in. I know I'm the only synthetic grower in here right now, so I don't want to get backed into a corner. With no backup.
Oh no, you're good. I ran synthetic for a long time. That's actually the reason I like to help the way I do, is because I can kind of walk into anybody's garden and go, "What are you using?" And they go, "Okay, well, this is how you should use this and this. You shouldn't incorporate this. You can use this, add this. You can discontinue this." Because I've ran just about every nutrient company out there before I went full organic, and then super soil, then synthetic, and then synthetic soil, and then finally just green natural farming and stuck with it. Like,
well, I mean,
yeah,
I don't,
but it's not for everybody though. It's definitely not for everybody.
It's not for everybody, and I don't, I definitely don't subscribe to the, the one right way of growing anything like that. I'm not saying that you're preaching that or anything, but I don't think there is one perfect or right, way to grow. And I think that, I definitely don't think that necessarily one is better than the other. I think one may be better for you, and something maybe, I may think best for me that doesn't work for you. So
trying to do, if you're trying to just step into this, it might be better for you to actually pick up a bottle and then actually get some plant time before you start figuring out super details. A lot of people that switch straight from organics to synthetics, they fucking hate it because they're like, the plants don't eat like I'm used to. Plants don't react like I used to. They don't feed like they used to. They don't dry out like I'm used to. Like, they just switch right back. They're like, the yields suck. They just kind of haven't figured it out. It's just
they're usually bottled
where you want to be.
Though, because I've switched from synthetic bottles.
There's not exactly one company out there at all that is literally made for cannabis. It's all made for fruits, vegetables, tomatoes, peppers. It's not like this is made for cannabis. No, it's not. They can't do that yet. But there's a lot of them that say you can, but they're mainly for peppers and shit like that. But even though peppers have the same kind of genetic code as cannabis, but then again, there's not really anything out there that's going to do it as good. Well, it's just, it's all trial and error. That's the cool part about it.
Yeah,
we're all just trying to find out what works best and what all can push the community to be better, what can push everybody else to be better, because everybody wants to have the best. There's nobody out there that goes, dude, I want to grow some Bammer. No, nobody fucking does that. They want to grow the best fucking shit they absolutely can.
Sure.
Like, there's nobody out there to go buy a nutrient and be like, yo, what's the worst shit you got?
I'll try to grow Bammer my first time. What are you talking about?
I don't think anybody thinks that. I don't think anybody's thinking.
The only point I was trying to make was just that, I don't. Just for me in my garden, synthetic is the way I like to grow. It's what I like to smoke, and it's I don't hate on anybody for being organic or however they want to grow, but I definitely don't think that that one is better than the other. I can as far as the yields and the output, I've seen high numbers and great things from both sides, and
definitely,
absolutely,
it is what it is.
But if you do both right, you're going to have great results. I think not super soil, but organics may be a little more forgiving as far as the flush goes. Yeah. If you got synthetics in there, they're not that easy to flush out sometimes. If you
even like a hydro setup, if one of your pumps dies, you might end up killing the whole fucking room in one afternoon.
Oh sure, yeah.
Organics is a little more forgiving, but then again, it's all about your end goal and what you want to get out of it, what you're trying to learn. Because then again, I'm not exactly sure who said it earlier, but they're like, when I started growing, it wasn't about the nutrients, it was about the light spectrums. That's what piqued your interest, dude. Go with it. When I first started out, just straight smoking, I was like, ooh, there's different kinds. Ooh, well, let's figure out all these different kinds and what's in them, and then you just go from there. What piques your interest. That's why this is so awesome to us, because there's so many different aspects, and we're able to actually talk to each other and be like, yo, this works for you, this didn't work for me, what happened with this, you actually grew this, I grew this with this, what did you grow it with? We can actually share information and fucking get through a lot of this answer and question bullshit quickly with all the people trying to do all this shit now because they have the same interests.
Yeah, nutrients is 10% of growing, in my opinion. I've always thought that. I always thought there's, environment and technique and stuff like that is way more important than the nutrients that you're using.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that the style, whether you're organic and synthetic, is just a small part of the equation. And I think, to me personally, the biggest and number one most important part of the equation is genetics. And you could grow, I don't care if you're the most clean,
You'd be the best grower,
organic or best grower, or
you ain't gonna fucking do nothing if you got a weak 2 Hermy.
If you got weak genetics, shit in, shit out. So
yeah,
exactly.
Hey, speaking
Any new
of
grower out there, do not grow fucking bag seeds. Go buy a clone. Find somebody that has a clone or a garden, or go buy seeds. Do not buy feminized. You can, but go buy regular.
I'm all about growing bag seeds. I gotta throw that one out there.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with growing bag seeds.
About feminized seeds.
I'm not talking like I feel more experienced growers should try to tackle bag seeds right away, but I don't think that the brand new guys. I think they should try something that's already stable, that's already been ran, doesn't have a chance of herming on them, because if they've never ran, they don't know what it is, what it looks like, anything like that. So they might be growing seeds and they already have a fucking 50 to 80% chance of it herming on them right off the bat. So it doesn't matter how much money they put into their first run, they might still get seeds, and they think that it's them.
I disagree a little bit on that, homie. It's just that it's just my opinion is that if you're out there and you want to start growing, I think whatever you can get your hands on, you know what I'm saying, get your hands in the dirt and fucking, you know what I'm saying, start popping, start sprouting something. And if that's a bag seed, whatever it is, you're only going to learn, whether you get Hermes or whatever the fuck happens.
If that's your only option, backseat it up.
Fucking grow that shit. You're growing the plant. You know what I'm saying? You're good with me, man. I don't care how you're doing it.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yesterday, I was so stoked. About to pop it.
I guess it also depends on how serious you want to be about it.
Boom. Triple cheese.
If you're growing. Fuck.
That's some good node spacing, dude. I like that.
Right.
Speaking of,
you know what I did is I did a brown guy 420 deal where you take the fan leaves off the top.
That might help.
What the fuck, Cortana?
Oh, there you go.
Hear that?
But hey, I see motherfucking Monster OG just popped in. What's up, homie?
What's up, bro?
There he is.
What's going down? I see y'all having a pretty in-depth conversation right now.
Yeah, we're getting into it a little bit, bro.
Like we usually do, just arguing.
I didn't hear no arguing.
Well, what's going on with you, Monster? What's going down in Monster OG's world today?
Oh man, just a bunch of running around and stuff, bro. A bunch of running around, fucking. Just got done doing some garden work.
Fuck, I gotta water my plants.
It's going pretty good, man. It's going pretty good.
Oh, growing Cali Dank, LMAO, 500 each. I know you no-tillers only water. No, I don't only just water. Actually, there's hardly any days I don't.
Stickers are good, bro. I like those. You did those, right, Wookiee? Those stickers for his mounts?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, those are.
I need a power grinder for stick life. It shouldn't be that dense.
Plant Builder, what's up, brother? Thanks for coming through to the panel tonight, man.
Hi,
Glad
Monster.
to see you on the panel, man.
Thanks for having me.
What's going down?
I'm having fun. I'm sort of watching the chat more than I'm listening to this current conversation. Excuse me, but I do. What's this heat sink Photon's building?
This is gonna be for dirt and what's his name? Dirty Hands or Hands and Dirt? Hands. I call it Hands. But I'm building him a frame. He just put a picture of it on his Instagram. But then I decided I'm going to try to make his bars swing like 15 degrees so he can like focus his light outwards or inwards.
Yeah.
So I redrew his frame and I'm making his bars right now, but I need to know how far apart to put them. So I just made the heat sinks real quick.
Gotcha. And so are those for a 50-watt cob? What are you planning them for?
I think he's going to run Vero 29s at 2100 milliamps, so that's like 75 watts or 100 watts a piece. They're gonna be hot.
Anyways,
but
it's
160 millimeter heat sink though, so I picked them up for him from China, so they're on the way. They're the ones. I don't know if I should put this on there yet, but they're the flat with the pre-drilled on the side. So I actually should put that on there because it's gonna affect the spacing of these bars over here.
Is that the total amount of pins in the heatsink design?
No, not yet. I'm getting there, and I don't even know. I guess I could like reference a picture or something, but
You're just biding your time. I take it there.
yeah, I'm just waiting until I get them. But yeah, I'm just kind of making a mock heatsink right now.
I see. So you can complete the diagram. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. Hi, Monster. What's going on with you? We all said what's up, so now it's your turn.
Oh man, just chilling, taking care of my girl and stuff like that, man. Fucking spending some time with her and making sure everything's good, man.
Got to keep that wife happy. Happy wife, happy life.
And where is it? Can't wait. I always say it can't wait. He's androgynous to me. Where's I can't wait?
Bro had to go into work. They fucking been busting his ass lately. So
I remember last week he ran in at the very end. He was jetting back to come hang out. All right, okay, as you were.
yeah, he's been like the main guy at his job. So he's been having to hold it down for them. And still coming through on the Trichome live stream. I'm sure he'll pop in sometime.
he's truly, you know, I've been making jokes the whole time, but he's one of the guys that is sort of fundamental in that joke. So I came here because of him for sure, number one. And I'll give a shout out to Highroot too. Where is that guy? Because you know, as I watched you guys, he would just hold court and basically just talk all this organic and LED jazz and throw it right back at you. And so I want to give him a little shout out as well. He definitely sort of helped create this thing that I enjoy, that is the Trichome Chasers.
Yeah, he's the one that invited me here too, so shout out to Can't Wait.
Well, he's at work, so.
Yeah, well, we can still shout him out.
Word.
Yeah, we had him cracking up last night too. He was fucking laughing his ass off. We were up till like 2 in the morning. Straight bullshit.
You know, we keep it real.
Good times.
We like to keep it real, you know.
So did Plant Builder already get into the fucking crazy stories already? Did I miss out on that?
we got a little bit. We got a little taste. You know, just leaving us wanting, essentially.
You know, with a promise to come back. There's committal here. There's commitment going on.
That's what's up.
No juicy stories yet. Just finishing off my first tall can. I didn't start till we started at 8. I only have 4. If I finish all 4, I go to water. So I'll be a good boy. But you know, I also appreciate, you know.
I go to water, you know, program.
Oh hell yeah!
That was like a good one.
Professional.
As long as it ends in water, it's a good one.
Yeah, as far as the opinions, and I can appreciate why you know, invited me on here. I'm happy to share. That's what we started with. It's like I got a long fucking rap sheet, and it's the mandate. You know, my mandate is to share. I literally was handed a torch from one of my higher uppers that literally said, "Look, you're the kid. We see what you're doing. You learn from us. You're gonna be the guy. You're smarter than us." And don't do what we did. And that referred to sort of proprietary, secretive, $10,000 clone, mid-90s mentality. And that I, being born on sort of the internet and inside of a grow shop, was born into this open source style of sharing. And I also apply that, of course, to the clones and genetics that I'm able to attain and share. And that torch was handed to me, just say that I stick to what I just described, which essentially can be described as open source rather than proprietary, or as the many rather than the one, #AllowSue. And so I'm here. I'm always here to share and chime in now. I can physically, with audio and a little bit of camera, chime in to when I see things that I have strong opinions on, which is very frequent. So.
Well, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I think fucking everybody on the panel is like definitely open to hearing other people's opinions and, you know, fucking.
And also,
I haven't.
Yeah, we're all pretty dedicated to like open source sharing of information too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You guys are doing that as opposed to the other two people that, you know, may sort of be sandwiching you on Friday and Sunday. You absolutely do not have that ability and are bound by certain proprietary factors. And that's where that's where I get frustrated, and that's where I go on YouTube and do it myself. And before I leave before I just shout out Haru, who's not even fucking here, let's give the big round of applause to Mr. Blunthumb, who, reminds me a lot of one of my own good teachers and mentors, C-Ray. That really, I see a lot of similarities in there. And just to say, he's certainly, when it comes to open source and his just, I don't know, sort of balanced, methodology, common sense, is also truly why I'm here. And him playing, hip hop and being who he is, really is what allowed me to sort of feel warmly enough to get in here. So thanks to him, and again, all of you and the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo that shout to Blunt too, because I the fact that Purple Haze and Blunt and you guys are throwing out, I'm big on the scientific side of it and the data side of it, and when I throw out like a shorthanded explanation of something that could be considered a little bit of an elaborate topic, Blunt's right there to be like, well, do you mean this or this or this? And if I'm being honest, like I definitely want to aspire to be at that level of knowledge about this plant, not to where I can, call people out on their stuff, but to where I can just educate to the level that, Blunt is able to with all that shit he packs in his head. So there you go, man.
Us emotionals love rational people.
I see DC Pharma kind of snuck in the back door there. What's up, DC?
What's up, DC?
Hey, nothing much, man. Just back here listening to the conversation, enjoying what's going on.
DC.
What up, say what's up to the chat. Love, thanks for the love. Definitely loving what's going on the panel. Like I said, man, ain't not much going on over here. Still cranking out in the kitchen. I'm working on my last batches of corn syrup, and just trying to knock out some contracts, man. See if I get this next grow going right.
That's what's
I'm being choosy.
That's good. Nice.
I got a question though, man. I hear all this talk with the lights and all that, and I do like where the direction is going, because I definitely think it's needed for certain situations and whatever your condition growings may be. But man, I've been noticing the prices, man, and for the type of grow that I'm trying to do, I've been trying to think outside the box, and man, just been thinking about ripping the roof open, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I come on that way and get a better result, man.
There's actually like some research going on right now into using optical fibers that just take the light from the roof and then like running them through the house into like a grow room. And
yeah, that'd be cool, man.
And then also you could run LEDs off of the solar panel, because solar panels put out DC power. So there's some room to breathe there. But I also agree with you that the fucking LED lighting industry is just charging people out the ass for shit that, is like a black box to most people. So
I mean, I love the lighting system. I love what they could do, man. But it's just like, if you're trying to do a big grow, man, the investment that you have to put into them damn lights, it just, man, like, I'd rather rip the roof off, man. I'm telling you. I mean,
fuck, if you're doing say 10K, it costs you what? Fucking a couple grand to do all Gavitas, or if you're doing the same footprint, it'd cost you like double to triple that. Of course, you're gonna save the power, but up front, that's double to fucking triple of the same.
Yeah, you gotta think long term though too. Like how often you change out 1,000 watt HPS bulbs.
Well, the double enders, I guess you only have to replace once every 2 years, and they only lose up to 5 to 8% power, compared to the single enders that lose about 3 to 5% each run.
Yeah, I'm used to the single enders. Okay, yeah. Because like
the double
it's a big thing for like
when you start talking Gavita, they actually recommend that you only replace their hood one time a year, because they say if you run sealed hoods, the glass gets scratched and gets dusty, and if you touch, even if you're trying to clean it, you actually touch the dust and it scratches your hood like very, very small, and the same thing with your glass. So that's actually taking some of your reflection away. So you're losing like from 5 to 15% light there. And then if it's air cooled, it actually literally drops your temperature of your light bulb, which actually drops your wattage. So you might be losing another like 3 to 5% there. And if you're using a single bulb on the second run, you might be only at 90%. So you might be at 1,000 watts, but only getting 400 watts by the time it actually hits your plants. But with Gavita said the double-ended bulbs once every 2 years, and they actually only lose 5%. And then replace your hood once a year, and it only loses 5 to 10%, but the hood's only $35.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just thinking like big time, like for commercial grows and stuff, like 100 light grows. That's like a lot of man hours just replacing hoods and shit, you know. I guess you would have to like wipe the face of LEDs clean, you know, a couple times a year. But
what they're doing with actually what most industrial grows do, like in Amsterdam, like say they run like 10,000 those lights. Because I mean, for instance, if you're pulling, let's say if you have $100,000 that you get every pull, if you lose 5% of your light, now you're down to 95. If you lose 3% on your hood, now you're down to 97. You know, or 93. Eventually, you're going to just start losing your profit. So literally, for a lot of the growers, it used to be literally cheaper for them to buy brand new ballasts, brand new bulbs, brand new hoods every single run, just to make up for the difference. Because I mean, if you're going to consistently get 100K every single run, if you only put up like say 100, like say 10K versus losing 15K just because of loss of the products getting worn in and getting used, you know, it was just cheaper to buy all brand new fixtures. Like you'll actually look on Craigslist and you'll see fucking 25 Gavitas for sale, because that's what somebody does, is they run those one run and then they fucking sell them and get brand new ones and do it again.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, it's going to take me a minute. I might gap a few times tonight. I should order a pizza. Okay, so in some of like the early lighting tests from say companies like Iwasaki in Japan way back in the day, light burn tests go like this. They test them on the 0 hour, they test them on the 10th day of constant production, and then they test them on the 100th day of constant running. And all HIDs suffer a loss from the initial spark at 0, 10, and so there's just like a linear curve for every product. And so you're somewhere between 0 and 10% at the 100th day between literally all products, and that's likely going to include the DE fixtures as well of the new. And so then you have this red.
Have a little bit better of a shelf life on them. I would love to look at the results versus the single.
Sure.
To see
Well,
on the
we don't have the data for sort of DE testing on that way.
If it's worth buying a brand new bulb every single fucking run, I mean, it's the same, pretty much the same price as a fucking single end. Single end's $100, DE's $120. And give me a break.
I'm not so sure you have to replace the whole hardware, but when we're talking to the burning arc tube and such, then yeah, that becomes the issue. And we end with this rhetoric that you're presenting that people dump the fixture entirely and just get new ones every run. And then of course we have a strong opinion in the chat with GML that of course does the same thing. And when I apply the 100-day metric at 3 months of growing, I end up with the same thing. Now, of course, there's a tool you can like really sort of juggle the math between your 1 and 2 year production versus your lamp replacement and what's actually happening there. But you know, if you want to be stringent with the numbers and look at the cost and the high value product, then you might just default to buying new lamps every time, which a lot of people do. So that's just what I wanted to throw down there, that there literally is 100-day, you know, from 0 hour, 10 days, and 100 days. No burning product is able to keep its burn curve. That's what we're describing here. And when you take the igniter wire and you don't wrap it around the arc tube itself, this of course increases the arc tube life. When you sort of supply the flow from either ends and spiking it at the one hot end, that of course increases the arc tube life itself.
I've also got a good little experiment if somebody's ever trying to dig into this. Single end versus double end, and then because the actual Gavita bulbs, you can dim with their fixtures, the 750 DEs, you can dim from 400 all the way up to 825 or 850. With a Philips or a Solistech bulb, they won't, like, if say if it's 1,000, it won't go down to 400. They won't have enough power to actually power the bulb. But Gavitas, they do it all the way up and down. Like, I'm wondering if a Gavita's spectrum, like, their efficiency is better than any other company, or why, you know, why all that shit is, because it's the same. They're all DEs, different spectrums, but I mean the casings.
If you're telling us that a 1,000-watt DE Gavita can be dimmed, you know, basically from min to full, then the point that it's turning on, you're seeing the low light, is basically this other point you described, which is like the 480, 440 watt point, where you're just...
Yeah, well, I'm saying, like, well, the 1,000 bulb will only run so long at that low of power before it'll just shut the fixture off. But with the actual standard Gavita bulb that comes with it, it can do the whole entire thing. It can do 450 all the way up to 825, no problem. Like, that's what it's made for. Like, I'm wondering why other companies aren't trying to do that, where you can dim them from where you want to be all the way up. Because, I mean, a lot of people use the dimmer switches now.
Because a lot of people don't want to dim their bulbs. Like,
that's right.
So, yeah. I mean, especially commercial grows that run Gavitas, like, they want to hang them 6 feet up and not touch them.
Yeah.
You know?
And anytime I've dimmed an electronic 1K ballast to any of its lower settings, it's not the, like, proportionate amount of light coming out of the lamp from the percentage of wattage going in. So it's like, not, just don't fucking do it. End of story.
Yeah. But then again, well, yeah, I guess they do make one that low. Well, do they make 400 DEs now?
They make 315s, don't they?
Well, those are CH ceramic metal halides.
Yeah, that's not an HPS, but
I mean, it's not a DE bulb though, is it? It's a different light fixture, isn't it? Isn't it like
CMH? Hold on, CMH being buried in a metal halide jacket is always just come out of the halide quartz lighting, which is always double-ended. All the little circular globe of metal that's in your CF, whatever we want to call it, CMH, is the same globe that's sitting in double-ended halide quartz fixtures since like the 90s.
Right. So it's a normal, like, screw-in bulb, like the normal, like, single-ended fixture versus.
Yeah, I'm just saying traditionally they've been driven double-ended like their entire existence, as well as being driven in HID ballast with changed jackets for single-ended fixtures, etc.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and I find a lot of these lights, whichever route you decide to go, man, a lot of these lights do their jobs. They will grow your cannabis, but what I'm not liking, and I see where the industry is going, is like, well, they figure people are growing weed, so they making money. So the prices of these lights, man, they just getting outrageous, man.
Yeah.
Yes. Like shit, anything works. Anything seems like worth the shit is at least $600, and you get like 250 watt. If you want to get something that's going to cover like a 4x8, you're going to spend like fucking $1,500 to $2,500. It seems like for like a Spider X or anything like that.
I see the analogy of we're like it for the first time that we're back in the 70s, and a home computer is like $800 or $900, which is incredibly expensive, and you guys are trying to build it yourselves to get away from that cost.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, like this new light fixture I just got, just like it's a high bay linear fixture that's supposed to be like from a warehouse, but I just had them like change the color temp and change the optics on it. And there's like 2 other grow light companies that are selling this exact same light from the exact same supplier for like $1,300, and it's a 500 watt grow light. And I'm gonna start selling them for like $650, $700. I don't really figure out my shipping costs on that, but it's like, dude, you're just fucking raping people for no reason. You're marking it up 400% and calling it a grow light, and people buy it.
Yeah.
Really made me mad.
Yeah, there's a lot of fucking man hours to go into that shit, honestly. Like, I was talking about that Grow Mounts about it the other day. He's like, dude, I would fucking sell them, but dude, there's just too many fucking man hours to go into them. I'd have to charge you out the ass for them.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean
I've been trying to get Grow Mouse to talk to me about like doing production runs, because that's like what I do is like design production tooling for making things, you know, out of machines, and like that's like my specialty at work.
That's what's up. It's a good fucking skill to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's definitely like Photon and Blunt and I and, you know, the rest of us when we just do our random sessions, you know, we talk about, you know, the nuances of the growing industry and being able to be that guy that can buy like, you know, thousands of cobs and, you know, equal weight and heat sinks and then matching drivers. Like, you know, all that shit costs a lot of money. And then once you have all of it, you got to be able to put it together and quickly. So you got to have a plan on how to put it together quickly. And all this can be done. And I mean, at that point, maybe you could have like proprietary knowledge that you're charging for, but you know,
it's all about getting like in what's the word I'm looking for? Like,
I guess my point that I'm making is we've been talking and we're trying to figure out how to make this. Well, I mean, more him because he's the guy with the brain and the computer, and we just bounce ideas off him. But to get it to the point where you don't have to spend, you know, $2 per watt or something outrageous like that. And I don't think we're going to get it any, you know, as close to what you can just go out and buy like a single-ended HPS fixture for. But that's just because that's mass-produced technology and LEDs are new. And then it just kind of comes down to your growing techniques and your methodologies and stuff like that. So it's doable. It's just going to take some legwork.
Yep.
Word. Yeah, like for instance, like I feel like a good point of reference is the Gavita, and like the Gavita, depending where you get it, say it's $450 for a new one. That's 45 cents a watt. The that I spec'd out was somewhere around 78 cents a watt. It's getting down there, but still not there yet.
Yeah.
But in more bulk amounts, it could definitely be reached. And like as some more and technology progresses and shit gets cheaper, it will definitely be reached.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I think PB, you're about to throw in.
Yeah. Okay, let's just give a shout out to the original Gavita.
Yeah, seriously. Fuck the China-made Gavita.
You know, the original 600, 750, and eventually 1K lamp, of course, in their oddly diamond-shaped jacket with its reflector painted on the back, right? That's really, and that, of course, that lamp itself, of course, has morphed into, thanks for other companies like PLC Lighting and competition and whatever, you know, the similar design, and we see this modern high bay ETE. We just call it a Gavita currently, like a Kleenex. But we'll shout out that original product for sure. And one thing I just was wanting to say, because that's like very, when we talk about the Gavita and what they've done as opposed to like older or, you know, say reflector or lighting paradigm, they made a lot of changes. And when we look at that lamp, when we look at the way it's progressed, we look at the way the high bay fixture looks like now, if we scale that down, there's not a lot of different than say the 5 or I haven't seen them higher watt LEDs, you know, that are placed on these cob boards and such. And essentially that Gavita style, whether it's high bay or original light, is essentially like the internal function of these cool functional cob boards that you're buying. In a sense, there's very little. Now they have somewhat of a heat problem, and that's what that's what I want to add input on. And one of the ways that what I was trying to say to Grow Mouse in a nice conversation we were having last Saturday on the show was to reduce your overall ability, you know, your overall metal footprint, aka like your heat sink, and go away from heat sink into sort of exposing the light as openly as possible. And when you think about the, you know, the old LR1000 trapezoidal powder coated shades, they hold a lot of heat, and the way that these other fixtures are getting out of it is by like really minimizing the actual radiant capture on the product. So I think you can apply that, and it also applies to myself who hangs lights vertically and essentially get you know, what I consider better garden activity, because I'm minimizing the radiant footprint, I'm minimizing radiant capture. And I think that's like a huge fundamental design, and still why I'm stuck in this like current light that's, you know, hung there bulb on its own, and looking forward to the next technology that's going to compete with it. And if I look at the designs that do, the Spider or the Spectrum King or you know, home cob builds, there's a lot of crosstalk, of course, between the Gavita product and that, and not a lot of crosstalk between what I'm using. But one thing that I can relay is the idea that all three of these have minimized their radiant capture in becoming products. So that's what I wanted to say.
Nice.
Hey, as far as minimizing your metal footprint or whatever, this is actually a design I've been working on to deal with the heat that comes off these cobs. It's a ducted tube, so it'd run like a cool tube, like an HPS cool tube. But you got your power supplies underneath, and then your cobs mounted to a board. And actually, the cobs get cooler as you go back, I assume because of the mixing of the air through here. And then I've got a Lexan cover over the top. So this is the first light I made of that.
I don't know if you're trying to, but I don't see anything on the screen right now. It's just black.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's up. I see it.
You see it?
Yeah.
Fuck, now I can't see it.
We can see it right now.
I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's up to Blunthumb to do hot presenting.
Yeah, sure.
My bad. Now I gotta find it. Yeah, so this is the first one of those I made.
It's a rocket ship.
Yeah, that shit's dope as fuck, bro.
Yeah, I can't wait to
blew these red
get those
diodes,
going.
or I blew the power supply, hooking it up again because I like touched some aluminum foil across the like main power input. So I'm gonna take this apart and put some more cobs on it because it was running really cool, like below ambient temperature somehow.
Yeah, add more, and that's essentially, you know, when I look at that's an air-cooled light, which is another faction of lighting that I don't participate in.
Mm-hmm.
And
well, that's because HPSs get less efficient at lower temperatures, right? Or you get less light out of them, right? You actually get more light out of LEDs if they're run at cooler temperatures.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting point.
So yeah, like cooling has been my main game from the start, because I don't really like, you know, buying big ass heat sinks and just like having them, you know, passively letting heat into my grow environment, and then I got to make up for that with AC. It's like, why don't I just suck all this heat out to start out with? And LEDs are more efficient at lower temps and at lower currents, so I like using more cobs as opposed to running like 100 watts on one cob. I'll run like 4 at 25.
And then, so what about just sort of the ultimate base adaptation of what I'm saying, which is like free hanging cobs that have a minimal heat sink, one that you're designed, aren't attached to a 5x10 frame, or simply strung by the 26 gauge thin wires that was frustrating High Guy, and like, you know, may hang where they do if you want to build some sort of angular arm to direct them. But you know what I'm saying? Like take it all apart and just hang it raw, like we do. It's just
Yeah,
my
they have
input.
those.
I'm not saying that's
Yeah, they actually make those. Some China company is making those right now.
And they have the HBG drivers, which connect to the top of the heat sinks, and you can set up your own DIY fixture pretty easily that way.
Mm-hmm.
Got a nice little eye hole right on top.
Yo, plant builder,
you're good.
there's a question. Someone wanted to know if you plan to source the tubes to set up active cool cobs.
That's probably directed at me, and yeah. Well, unless that was directed at Plant Builder.
Oh, my bad. He said photon.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, actually, that's like my job at work is to source material like that, and I know enough machinists to get it done quick. So, actually, I think I have. Fuck, I'm not gonna go get it, but yeah, I'm gonna start making a lot of 4-inch and 6-inch tubes. The biggest thing that's hard for me to source right now is the acrylic cover to go over the top. Turns out thermoforming is not that easy, and companies don't want to do it unless you want to buy like 1,000 pieces. So I don't really know how I'm going to source those yet, but they should be pretty cheap. I'm thinking, you know, like $50 or so for a 6-inch tube that's 4 feet long or 3.5 feet long to fit in a 4x8 tent or a 4x4 space. I mean, and 2 of them on a 4x8 tent. And then I'll be sourcing the insert piece as like a heat sink itself. So that'll be like have fins on the back of it where the cobs go. And then possibly the bottom piece will have heat sinks where the power supplies mount to. But yeah, I'm trying to like put together a full fixture that people can go nuts with.
Well, hey guys, I'm gonna cut out of here early tonight. I got a lot of work to do and putting this room back together. But much love to everybody. It was good talking with you, Plant Builder, World One Shot. Always good to talk to you guys, man.
Mm-hmm.
Much love, Wookiee.
Yeah, Wookiee, you have a good night, man.
Good luck. Take it easy, brother.
Good work.
Later, Wookiee.
All right, peace.
Yo, shout out to Venom Grower.
Oh fuck, I was on mute.
For real.
Bye, Wookiee. I said message.
Yeah, shout out to Venom, man. Fucking much love to the Venom Grower.
Yeah, man, he's keeping
Hope
it
everything's
real.
going good, man. For real.
Yeah, I think I just started following him just recently.
Yeah, I see a lot of chatter in the chat talking about synthetic and organics and all that. And you know, I feel we talk about a lot of organics on here. So, you know, anybody got any opinion on synthetics or what line's better than the other? You know, let's give a little talk to the salt people. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't really care for the advanced nutrient line. Well, it was all right. It just needed to be ran a different way. The style that I was running it, I liked the Flora Nova line. Felt like that was good. The Lucas formula kicked ass. It was produced good results. That's what NASA was using at the time to grow vegetables in space. Psycho was decent. Just not a big fan of Mills. Like no matter how many times I try it, I'm just not a big fan of it. It looks great. I mean, there's no doubt about that. It looks great. Plants look good. It just, to me, like I just don't feel that good on them. But yeah, my favorite probably was the general hydroponic line. Probably just the Lucas formula.
Yeah, that's what I've been using for the last 3 years since I started, and I have no reason to change. So I've been, you know.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to go back to synthetics, or if I absolutely had to, I would just run straight up the Lucas formula. And then I used to rock the liquid cool bloom, but then dropped that.
Yeah, I just rocked the 3 bottles, the general hydroponics, the old school. I don't know
micro
if they
duo or
changed when they got bought out by Monsanto, but I heard when they did,
Yeah.
and I bought like 9 gallons
the
just
same
so
thing
they
with
could
the
be safe.
Go line. Unfortunately, is they're owned by they're the same company, the General Organics, General Hydroponics. So Monsanto bought them both. This is same with the Actinovate, the microbial stimulant that actually helps eat powdery mildew and helps keep it off. But it's OMR listed organic. I'm pretty sure it doesn't have any. Yeah, I don't. But Monsanto bought that one. I'm pretty sure he already spliced his shit into it. So now we use a Myco stop if you like that Actinovate.
Just for accuracy and the prevention of straw man arguments and shit, Monsanto did not buy any companies. It was the Hawthorne Group, which is a subsidiary of Scott's Miracle Grow, which has a business partnership with Monsanto to
right, and then
distribute the Roundup products
Monsanto,
solely.
right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I heard, Blunt.
Monsanto just got bought out by Bayer, right? So Bayer owns Monsanto now?
You're cutting up bad, but I think you said that Bayer is buying Monsanto, which is accurate, but they're still going through the processes of being approved to actually acquire, to complete the acquisition.
Oh, the other way around. Bayer bought Monsanto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like. That's another reason why I really just kind of like foraging for my own stuff. You just go where there hasn't been any feed, life, anything that's even been run around, and you just start fucking collecting your own shit.
Tony wants to know what Plant Builder's favorite line is.
I would like to know that as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
What's everybody's favorite synthetic?
I'm here. I love metal salt fertilizers. Technically, my answer is like the word 6-pack, and that means make your own. And there's 6 general ingredients. There's the micro mix. There's calcium nitrate. There's monopotassium phosphate, that's MKP. There is Epsom salts. There's potassium sulfate, and there's potassium nitrate. Those are your 6-pack.
Yeah.
And so that's my answer. Now I got to sort of make a formulation. Now there's of course things that are called, you all know, Jack's fertilizer, of course. In Canada we have a company called Plant Prod, and somewhere in the middle is a product called Peters. These were all half metal, they're metal salt fertilizers that lack calcium, designed for fertigation into soil crops, gas, of course. And so in my sort of second year of being in the hydro store, we began manufacturing a line called G Gold, which was essentially a 6-pack fertilizer in a dry mix in which you got to add your own water to your concentrate bottles. That I love as well, but it of course has its limitations. In realizing its limitations, morphed into a line that was formerly called ProBio. You can Google what that is. And when you Google what ProBio is, it's a defunct product. You can't buy it. But when you see the bottle lineup and the nutrient formulations, you'll realize that it's thus since morphed into Remo Nutrients. So by default, I kind of have to say that Remo Nutrients is my favorite fertilizer.
Is that a 6-part?
It's just the ingredients I've described just go into concentrate bottles, and the 6-pack expanded when it became ProBio, and again slightly morphed when it became Remo Nutrients as well. But the philosophy, of course, the person. There are no elite clones. There's just elite people. The person sort of, who created it has, the essence is there, is what I'm saying, of course.
All right.
And so by default, I should give it a go in my newly found growing ability. And as I attain greater spaces, I have no shame in Hopefully I can just go ask them for some. I know that it's priced somewhat in the upper spectrum of buying liquid fertilizer, that's for damn sure. And that's why I say 6-pack, because when you look at the costing of it, and like dry amendments, you can buy 6-7 bags. They are good for a year. The metal salts will last you 5-6 years. It's just that crazy. And then you're sort of aware of sort of the profiteering that's, tend to send people on their path. They don't tolerate that kind of like price pointing, and they start fucking innovating, which is cool. So I think I answered what my favorite is. Shout out Remo. And give it, I have to put the caveat that Remo Nutrients is not Remo. Like, hopefully it's more fucking PB than it is Remo.
It's way different than Advanced, correct? Like, or is it pretty long?
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, I did want to chime in earlier when this topic started. Someone said very aptly, I don't like Advanced right away, and that should be what everyone thinks. Yeah, not if dude, just don't. I think Monster knows exactly what's right as you get down to using their pH down or up, because for the $15 it goes the furthest and is the most concentrated product, and that's all you need to use of Advanced products.
I think it's kind of funny when people fail on Advanced. I'm like, dude, it's retard proof, 100%. You follow the chart. They give you every bottle in the list you need it. Like, if you can't do that on Advanced, come on. You need to start learning how to read better and start comprehending better.
Yeah, I definitely feel what you're saying, one shot, but they switched their fucking formulas too much for all that consistency, bro. Like they're not consistent with their formulas at all.
I was unaware with that.
Oh yeah, they've been doing that shit for years, dog. Like I've used Advanced. Oh, I stopped using them, but
last time I smoked any Advanced, I couldn't even take a second hit. I was like, oh my. Guy did not believe in flushing at all. I was like, oh my god, dude. He's like, we sip lean so that we can smoke hella weed. I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I smoke like a fucking half ounce a day minimum. I'm like, they're like, how much you smoke? I'm like, they're like, oh, we smoke like a quarter ounce a day. I'm like, you guys have to fucking do what to numb your throats to smoke? I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, we just sat here and smoked an 8. Do your throats hurt? No, and then I smoked one top of their bowl and was like, oh my god, Al.
Well, that might be the particular grower, dog, because
dude, I never had those problems.
I never had that feedback or anything like that, bro. Fucking, you know what I'm saying?
He didn't believe in flushing. He pushed it until the day he cut it. It was outdoor. It was just not, dude.
Then he shouldn't even be really fucking acknowledged, bro. He shouldn't even be acknowledged, dog. Like, he's not flushing his weed, bro.
No,
he's not flushing. He deserved no acknowledgement.
Get him, Monster.
Dude, 5 years. 5 years with that same stuff, dude.
Yeah. But that's where I really honed in my fucking like 2-week flush shit, bro, was when I was using Advanced, just because of how much salt I would see on the
at least 2 weeks.
On the cocoa, I would see like a lot of fucking salt buildup and stuff like that. So, you know what I'm saying? Like that's why I really started focusing on my flush game, really.
Yeah, for real, seriously. Yeah, definitely. Some companies are a lot easier to flush than others.
I've used a lot of advanced nutrients, and I have a lot of their tests between like Advanced versus this other company, on my YouTube channel, and I use the pH Perfect and all that kind of stuff, and I was pretty impressed with it. I got some really good smoke out of it and stuff, but as far as like price goes, I think they're pretty pricey, and
pricey as shit.
Yeah, and but as long as you get a good flush on just about anything, it'll, and the plant cannabis.
Oh yeah, you're definitely gonna get some good taste on it. You just need to make sure you raise your glucose levels at the end if you can, just so that way you at least get some of the sweetness into it.
Yeah, I always use the bud candy, which I can't stand anymore. I had my sister-in-law. She said she doesn't know anything about growing, and she got some of my weed, and she's like, this smells like candy. She's like, I don't know if I want to smoke it. She's like, it's weird. She's like, it smells like candy. I don't get it.
Yeah, fuck bud candy, man.
Yeah, this is a while back, so I'm like, you know what? I want more of the actual plant to come out. I don't want to like, you know, mask the plant with something. So.
You should look into OHN. We make it's an Oriental herbal nutrient that can be used in organic or synthetic system. It's literally just a fermented garlic, cinnamon, and ginger. It helps enhance the terpenes of any plant, so it actually helps make everything quite a bit louder. It makes Kushes definitely a lot louder. That's one thing I really like. But with the Korean natural farming, one thing I like is you can actually, like, you can tailor your strains. Like, say you're growing a blueberry strain, you can ferment blueberries and certain other things and actually bring out more of the blueberry flavor or whatever you want, just like you do with the sweeteners on the shelves, but you can make them yourself.
From what I've been learning, you know what I'm saying, like the ferments and stuff like that don't specifically have to be used with organics. Like, you can also use those while using synthetic nutrients and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that's the whole debate. Like, organics, you can use organics and synthetics the same, like, together. Like, that's the whole same debate. It's like yes and no. One, you're not going to recycle your soil because you're actually using synthetics. You're going to get salt buildup. Yes, you can do it because the plant's going to eat them because it is a more concentrated form. And the plant will absorb it like it normally would. But if you're running like it, I don't think it could totally be experimented with in a deep water culture system or a moving tray system, but I think it's going to have to be ran differently because you're going to rely more on bacteria versus the plant being like burned a little bit and then force fed. So they just eat differently.
Yeah, well, I think like the rainbow.
I can even just notice by just like how roots look. Like if people post pictures of their clones of their roots, dude, like big old fat worm roots are just like.
What, can you go back a little bit? One shot. You said to be burned a little bit to fed. What do you mean by that?
I feel like they take the salt and they actually burn the root tip so that they can absorb the metal content.
Nah, that doesn't happen, bro. There's no burning of the roots at all. Period. None of that.
Yeah, I've never experienced that. Some of the roots you see like in DWC with synthetics and stuff, or bright white.
It's not a physical burn, but if you look at organic roots versus synthetic roots are big, all white, long, thick worms, and organic roots are like small, more fishbone, like feeder roots.
Yeah, it's like difference between steroids. I mean, that's kind of the difference.
Yeah, it's just the plant eats it just a little bit differently.
Right. Yeah. Well, here's the thing too. Like when I use, I kind of compare Botanicare kind. That's what I'm using right now. And their whole thing is after 10 years of experiments with this, they finally put this out, and it's supposed to be for the synthetic organic grower, if there is such thing, and I've used just the first 3 bottles of their kind, Grow, Bloom, and Base, and it wasn't nowhere near as good as when I started adding their Pure Blend tea, which has got, it's got a lot of guano and worm castings and stuff like that in there. So.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and it's kind of comparable to the rainbow nutrients. A lot of people like Legal, he talks about the rainbow nutrients leaves some heavy sediment behind, and that's the organics that's in it. And I think that's what I'm not. You can't, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that the rainbow lineup does have a good chunk of organics in it as well. It's not just straight salt, And I think that's why.
Yeah, it does, bro. It does. It has. I think it has some like leonardite and stuff in it.
Shaking his head. He might know something about this. What's up, Plant Builder?
Well, if it's got some like humid rock dust falling out of it, that doesn't mean it's organic, and it doesn't mean it's similar to the original Pure Blend Bloom biostimulant tea and the subsequent products.
No, not those. Those aren't in the kind lineup, but
which are full of all sorts of guanos and stuff like that. Nothing.
Well, like the Canna line, the Canna line's like mainly organic. It's like an organic synthetic line too. Like even the veganic line isn't even organic because they use a synthetic PK booster. But it's mainly.
The reason I shake my head so confidently is because when I ascertained, of course, through history, that I knew what Remo Nutrients had created a deal with my former boss. And I was giggling about it with C-Ray. He sent Sandra of Remo Nutrients a request to get their MSDS, and she released them to us and him And so I know exactly what products they're using to make the nutrients, and there's zero organics in it. In the one that is the velo kelp, of course, there is. But if there's sediment from,
at least you know exactly what's in all that. You've actually gotten the printout data. You know what's in it.
I have the emails.
That's something you can feel confident with. That's one thing that I really like about the Dragonfly Earth Medicine line. They list all their bacilli count, all their everything, their fungi count, their bacteria count, and every single product they use in each percentages of what. Like they're not trying to hide nothing. They're like, this is exactly
that we got the MSDS, and if you look at their website, it doesn't really reflect what they're saying at all. So there's a bit of conflict there. But that, of course, just goes to know that they're sort of a third label in the process. And, you just know that, and you can accept that if your third label person is buying a product and represents it, not wholly, but maybe in a way that gets it to market, who gives a fuck? So if it's good, it's good.
Their kelp, I mean, he's got a research, I think it's, I don't know, what is Monster, what does Legal have? He's got a recirculatory system, or has he got DWC? Or, I don't remember off the top.
Yeah, he's got a recirculating ebb and flow.
Yeah, and he's saying that he can't use the rainbow in there because it's just there's too much of a
sediment.
Yeah, like a sediment.
It's too much sediment.
Maybe taking your the mix actually of it and then running it through like a 25 or 15 micron bag before you feed it, taking the actual thick particles out of it and almost like using it as a pre-tea.
It's like, is he just using the grow and bloom or the micro bloom formula and not the velo kelp? Because if he puts the velo kelp in, velo kelp is just nitrozyme, and so that will film up and do all sorts of fucking bullshit in a res and creates all sorts of snot and penicillin and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's what's going on. Exactly right. That's what's going on with him.
But no one in the lower 48 is calling nitrozyme an organic heavy nutrient.
I love that shit. I spray it on my plants all the time.
There's not any rock dust out there they can classify as organic either because they're all mined. They're not consistent,
At some point, heavy equipment's got to get involved. You're right.
No.
Yeah, that makes sense if it's like an enzyme or that clogging it up.
It's if he's he just needs to not put velo kelp in his fucking mix and just run the base nutrients. He can put candy in there because that's just micros.
Mm-hmm. I think he's over it though.
Should be fine, and I know if you read their formula, it just says, of course, put it all in.
Yeah, I think he's just looking for something that's a little bit more set for that type of system. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell him to go with the damn Lucas formula.
He says he's having good results with the Remo. It's just he like myself personally, we just like a little bit thinner nutrients for, you know what I'm saying? Those
something that doesn't quite build up as much.
Yeah, exactly. Don't put this fucking thick shit in the damn reservoir, buddy.
Word. Yeah, definitely give that tip to Legal. He might fucking try it and shit,
Because the other ones aren't like that. There may be this 5, 10, this humic additive, but that really won't cause problems, It's when
you think he's going to come out with a full hydro line for it without the organic components in it for the hydro system.
They just need to tweak their taglines and tell people not to do that. They don't need to make a whole damn lineup.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just back to that. I've read their sites where they say the fucking nature's candy is full of amino acid bullshit, and it's totally not.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to push
gotta love that
on anybody, but most of the synthetic lineups I've used is, even a quarter, sometimes halfway through your grow, as you're spinning the lids in the bottles, you're getting all kinds of salt, and you just feel that grinding shit, and with the Botanicare kind, this is going to be my second run, and you can not one of the bottles have any kind of grinding in the caps, and that tells me it's a very, very low salt.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I see a lot more and more companies are trying to go more organic compounds versus inorganic compounds too. But either way, it's just, we're just getting more and more advanced with the growing. There's a lot more people out there trying to grow. There's a lot of people getting involved in it, and they're starting to bring a lot of new knowledge to it. It's awesome. I give it 5 years and we're all going to get, like, what we're doing right now is going to be way fucking old news. They're going to be like, do you remember back when we used to smoke weed like this? Just 5 years down the road, we're going to just come across something and it's just going to blow the top off everything and everybody's going to be doing something new.
Well, not me.
Like rosin.
Probably not me. I mean, what I've already been doing, what I'm doing right now, everybody's already saying it's old as hell, you know, like super soil.
You know, but you know, if it ain't broken and it works for you, don't change it. You know, you can tweak how you want. It's literally your fucking world. You're God. You do what the fuck you want.
Art projects.
Yeah, I'm not gonna talk numbers, but I get plenty. I mean, I'm very happy with what I get, and that's really what it comes down to. You know, if you're happy with what you're doing, you know, I'm just not the type of guy who's gonna come up and just, you know, shoot somebody down for what they're doing when they're all stoked at what they're doing. You know, it's just
definitely
not my character. You know, but yeah. You know.
Let me fire here. If I'm God, first of all, I get to kill myself 80 billion times a day because that's what I'm into. While we're on nutrients, while we're on this, like, the revulsive nature of advanced nutrients on well-tended weed, on YouTube is this fucking no-till bed with some dark plasma in it at like day 50 to 60 with like the most unsmokable bud that I've ever seen. Of course, I'm talking about Brown Guy 420, who is, of course, Weed Tuber of the Year. Don't get me wrong, I love him and I love his efforts. But here we have, and there's like fucking 10,000 maniacal worms underneath there that he disturbs whatever's on the top, and the fucking worms start leaping out at us, and then we pan up to just bud. So, like, I don't smoke flowers. Maybe that's part of this new paradigm we were describing of. But I just can know by the optics that we are just looking at bud that is going to require about 40 to 50 lights per joint to keep the thing going. And so I just wanted to put that out there while we're on nutrient talk. And just maybe get some feedback about, you know, the idea that, like, all those worms and all that activity and all that free nitrogen is just fucking the dark plasma on top.
Shout out to Vader OG.
He's got a way too big of a population. He doesn't have a big enough bed. His worms overpopulated. He needs to try to actually get he needs to either try to put 2 beds underneath of them so they try to draw out of that first bed so he can separate some of them, and then replace some of the inorganic matter with carbon.
Yeah.
So I don't want to throw too much negativity out there.
I mean, me personally, I don't. What's wrong with the bud itself?
I think way too much life is bad. It's like if the world was overpopulated with people, we're all going to be trying to eat, and nobody can fucking eat, so we're all going to start trying to bite in each other, and, you know, we're eventually just going to fucking... It's like if we're all on a ship and there's fucking 1,000 of us in a fucking rowboat, we ain't going to fucking float.
Man, I think it's all strain related too. So, you know, like, if that's what the plant is showing, and that's what the plant is showing, you can't make the plant look better than what it's supposed to be. You know, if you got to live in soil and it's thriving, and that's what's happening, you know what I'm saying? The plant is growing how it's growing. So what are you saying? You need NPKs to make your plant grow?
No, I think honestly it's more based about trace minerals. I think you can fucking grow off kelp, honestly. Like, kelp's got more, kelp or nettles, they have more than enough trace minerals on them to tag all your bases. Eventually they're all going to break down and you're going to be just sitting. Like, there's actually a big old seminar about how you can pretty much grow everything with just fucking kelp. It's got like 73 different trace minerals in it.
And you pretty much can. And a lot of these synthetic nutrients that you see out here try to use kelp in their bottles.
Oh yeah, because kelp's the shit, dude. That's what I use for an organic bud hardener. If your shit's just not quite tight enough, just feed them some kelp. But you want to make sure you don't. If you're doing a top dress, 5 weeks. If you're doing a liquid form, 3 weeks, or you're gonna taste it. Because even in organics, you can taste over nutrients. You can taste guanos. You can taste trace minerals. You can taste nitrogen. You can taste fucking phosphorus. You can taste, you can taste that shit. That's why you know, you just want to make sure everything's balanced and not overcompensating in any of your areas if you can.
I mean, to me, in organics, that's what it's all about, is having a living, balanced soil in your pots, in your beds, or outside, wherever it is you're growing. I'm not saying that my style is better than synthetics. You know, to each his own. Synthetic has its place in its growing community, that's for sure. You know, whatever you like to do, whatever you're comfortable in doing, you know, but you definitely can't judge one person's style of growing by what you see on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Every farmer is different, that's for sure. You see, you feel what I'm saying? Every no-till pot is different. Every synthetic pot is different, you know?
What does phosphorus taste like?
Right.
What does phosphorus and all that shit taste like, bro?
Yo, Monster,
it seems like you have
sulfur taste like?
What's up?
What?
So what does sulfur taste like?
Sulfur tastes like fucking rotten eggs.
What does carbon taste like?
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
What does H2O taste like?
Most bud that I've tasted that's not flushed.
You fucking know what all of that tastes like. Don't, come on.
Leaves like a little tingle on your tongue.
Same thing with trace minerals. They can leave almost like a metally tinge in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
Dog, whose weed have you been smoking, bro?
Dude.
Like seriously, bro. Like in all my years of smoking weed, I have never tasted these things. I've been smoking since I was 11 years old. I'm 31 now.
I'm just picky, I guess.
Like I'm curious, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? At the claims that you say.
I know a lot of people that only top feed, and they run into a problem like week 5 into flower, and then they're like, "Ooh, I'm gonna correct it. I'm gonna throw some azomite on the bitch." Like, oh. I can taste hella trace minerals in this bitch. Like it burns in my throat. Like it tastes good, but the afterglow is just, my throat gets a little bit sore.
So phosphorus and stuff taste good? The minerals taste good?
No. I feel if you're doing any trace minerals, you want to the last top fee is right as you go into flower. But like same thing with guanos. Bat guano, you can taste it. Like if you smell bat guano, you can fucking taste it if you over bat guano. Like it'll just have that little. It's like you'll taste everything will taste great until the after tinge. It's like fucking vodka. The first thing's fine, and then the after thing's like whoo, you know. But I'd like to cock my soil where I don't really taste anything. I'm more relying on my sugar contents that are in my ferments versus anything. But just trying to get my cation exchange where I want it and get just all my food sources all balanced in there and just give them a little push.
I had a neighbor who liked my bud and my grow and everything, and he's like, "Oh, I want to do that," you know. So we set him up a little grow, and I gave him some of my nutrients, just enough for a couple plants for a run. And I told him, I said, "You got to do your research, you know, or come over and pick my brain and stuff, so that way, I'm not gonna tell you everything right here on this one day, you know." So as it went on, I forgot to tell him to flush. He didn't ask to flush, so he didn't flush anything. He cut it down, and every time you smoke it, it would just tear your throat up, and it gave you this tingling on your tongue. I mean, this crazy tingling, almost like your tongue would be numb. And everything.
I feel like that's either salt or the metal content in whatever it was using, because I don't feel like you get that tingling on your tongue really in organics. Unless, I don't feel like I've ever gotten that organics though, just on your tongue, mainly just synthetic.
The plant feeds as it wants, It's not you're not force feeding it, With organics, you're not force feeding the plant. It's the microbes break down the nutrients, and then the plant can feed as it needs. But when you're using synthetics, you're like basically jamming food down its throat. It has to eat.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would definitely like to get some fucking more synthetic growers on the panel, just so we could have a more like from experience type of conversation instead of like from opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to get like people thinking one way, and you know what I'm saying? Like fucking.
Absolutely.
We got to bring some more experience onto the panel for sure. Hopefully, fucking Vader finds some time to come on here soon, because dude really has what he's doing down to a science, bro. Like for sure. You know what I'm saying?
I like mine. Shout out to Grandmaster level, man.
Yeah,
You know,
we've been trying to get GML on here forever. Fucking GML already knows he's got a seat on here whenever the fuck he feels like it. But yeah, GML for sure. He definitely, always invited over here.
He definitely keeps it real with his synthetics when he's growing. He tells you the good and the bad of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and he's kind of correcting me right here, saying that he doesn't know about like saying that it's jamming food down their throat. So that's probably incorrect for me to say, but it is, you know, it's definitely a more of aggressive feeding type than organics. So
I mean, from an organic type of view, I feel the same way too. You know, from my point of view, I feel like you're force feeding the plant, but this is my opinion, my point of view. So yeah, true. We need more synthetic growers in here, so they could help us to what's going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Well, I don't have a lot of the science behind it, but like I said, I do organics and synthetics, and I like both my smoke. Like I have a jar of synthetic grown cookies right here, and it's amazing. I love it.
And I don't never judge. I never judge my smoke like that, man. Like I judge it if you're a good farmer, if you're a good grower. You feel what I'm saying? So if you got some bad shit, that's just that motherfucker didn't know what the fuck he was doing, whether he was organic or not, or whether he's synthetic or not, man. Like if you're getting bad bud, that person did not know what he was doing. It's just that simple, man.
That's simple. ain't no excuse for it. You just didn't know what you was doing.
Cause I done smoked some motherfucking weed that's been grown synthetically. Trust me, and the shit's been some fire, man.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You know,
some definitely fire. There's just too many people out here and they're putting bottles on plants and they don't know why or what they're doing it for. And they're just like, oh yeah, I'm doing this for this, and then they don't know why.
And that's where a lot of people run into problems, man. That's where a lot of people run into problems. Like you got to learn what you're doing, man. You just can't mix this up. Like the big thing recently, right? Was Mammoth P. You know, this is supposed to be an organic product or a synthetic lime. I don't really know what it is, but you know, everybody was hopping on it, but you have to see, you know, you have to wait these things out and see if they actually work or don't, or see what your results really are before we start jumping on any bandwagon on any material, whether it's organic or synthetic. You feel what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I would hope that when somebody goes out to buy a nutrient lineup, that they're not just going out buying it blind. I would hope that they're researching a little bit. They're getting a recommendation from a buddy who they've seen use it, that they've tasted their product and everything, and and they've talked to them about the ease of use or whatever they're looking for. I would hope that no one would go out there and just buy a lineup just wondering how it would work.
Dude, unfortunately, I've seen a lot of people do that. They just walk into the store. What's the best thing here? And then they go give them this and this and this and this and this, and then they're like 2 weeks later, they're in there with another $800. They're like, "What the fuck am I doing?" Like,
right. It's all marketing, man.
We're just trying to get them right off the bat. A lot of places up here, at least, well, around.
And like Plant Builder said, man, like if you're learning what you're doing, man, you might even find out that you don't have to go to these stores or buy the next best hit. You could actually make it yourself. You might become the next best hit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for $200.
So it pays. If we're going to grow this plant, it pays to know what we're really doing, the background of it, the style that you're growing into. Just get into it, man, and do the best you can of what you're doing, for real. But if you're getting fucked up smoke, man, that's just a fucked up farmer. It's just plain and simple, man. Some shit I grow, man, and I'm growing organic, man. I test my shit before I send it out. If I don't like it, man, it's gone, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it, and I grow multiple strains in the same room, so that's why, to some degree, I always believe that some of this shit is strain related as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And definitely, and unfortunately, like, say if you hit something too early and nitrogen too early, sometimes the flavor don't come out. And if it gets really fat stock, sometimes they taste woody. Fuck, what was it I was gonna say? Damn it.
I want to chime in before we get too far and we forget. nitrogen, of course, and good old NH3 and ammonia. Like, you all fucking know what that tastes and smells like as well. And to answer Monster's question, which is a valid question, what does phosphorus taste like? That's a good one. Like, ride with that, bro. Fucking ride dirty with it. And realize that phosphorus is an immobile element. It goes up into the fucking meristem tissue and it gets burned into fucking ATP or whatever, and it gets used to as the fire to create other things, and therefore it's consumed, and you don't taste phosphorus. And of course, it's only regimented in something around 100 excuse me, parts per million, you know, which is like 0.001%, which is very little, of course. And so, you know, just understand, you don't taste the phosphorus because it gets burned in use for making other things, aka proteins, aka plants. And yes, plants are proteins, people. Vegetables are protein. Okay, I'm done.
Nah, thanks for that breakdown, Plant Builder. I appreciate it. Because I was just responding to One Shot's statement. He said he could taste the phosphorus and all this other stuff. So I was just curious, you know, what do these things taste like? Because I've never.
Yeah, well,
I've
you
never
ever
tasted.
smelled what dynamite smells like? You ever seen how, like, you ever seen weed that like flick, like, what is it? Like when you light it, it actually pops like your fucking sparker on a lighter. That's way too much fucking phosphorus. A lot of people get that when they use a lot of fucking bat guano.
Backyard scientist was lighting piles of magnesium on fire. Shout out YouTube.
Well, there you go.
There's always a lot of other things that'll affect your taste too, like, you know, improper environment. Like if you have too low, you know, if you have too low temperature or humidity, you know, you can lose a little bit of the terpenes and stuff as well.
Yeah, if your VPD's off.
As well as if you have your humidity is too high, because if your humidity is too high and you get any moisture, you know, penetrating those glands, you can lose a lot of terpenes as well.
Yeah,
Vader
man,
says the vitamin B is what sparks.
and you know what else can mess your crop up, man? And I don't mean to change the subject up, but you can have a lovely grow going again, whether you're organic or synthetic. You can have a lovely grow going and chop that joker down. And if you don't harvest your bud right, man, everything could go wrong.
Oh, definitely. I've seen some of the best fucking weed that, like, somebody's given to me, and then they cured their stuff, and I cured their own stuff and came back with it, and they're like, "What is this? This is your stuff." And they're like, "I don't taste like that." I'm like, "What'd you do?" "Oh, plastic bag." Who said spark because of what? B or D vitamin?
Yeah, vitamin B.
Vitamin B. That might be the taste, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, Vader's saying it's used when bonding the salt and the nitrogen. So you flush the nitrogen out, you flush other, you know, salts out, but then you still have vitamin B behind.
Okay, yeah, that actually might be it right there, vitamin B. See, I was just wondering. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I agree with you, Monster. Like, I don't actually taste the nutrients. I just noticed different things, like maybe not as smooth.
Right, like I was saying in the chat, the only thing I've ever really noticed, bro, is like the weed sizzling. Like it'll fucking sizzle and like pop and shit, or just like a very, very harsh weed that as soon as you hit it, it like fucking smacks you in the back of the throat. You know what I'm saying? And fucking you don't want to smoke it. But as far as like actually tasting fucking elements, like I've never experienced that.
I'm talking about stuff that hasn't been flushed very well. If it's flushed well,
exactly.
I can't.
No, I'm definitely talking flushed well. I'm talking like organically, people that are trying to fix problems later on in flower with different things. Like sometimes you can end up tasting it if you don't give it enough life, you know, enough fucking flush on it. Honestly, like I said, kelp. Like I feel like you could taste what. I just feel like you can taste certain things, like guanos and everything else.
Vader's kind of confirmed
Vader said that
about the chalky taste. Yeah. Go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, Vader was saying that the phosphorus can lead to the chalky dynamite taste, and that it happens in wine as well.
Hey, yo, One Shot, where you at, brother? Are you in Cali?
Yeah.
Word. Okay.
Phosphorus is not a mineral in the chalky wine taste.
Because I know people who live in California have access to so many different growers' products. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, well,
I've been moving around the country
too.
for, you know, a lot of my growing career. So I've only been smoking my own weed or people close to me. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, it's like I said, it's kind of nice styles that I ran because I've kind of ran a variety of nutrients over the years and styles and hydro and soil and all that other shit. So I can I've been invited to a lot of people's gardens and I can kind of step in and go kind of be on their page a little bit. They can tell me where they're at and I can kind of help a little bit.
Word.
But then again, I know a lot of people that think they want to fix everything with trace minerals and everything else. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this because of this. I'm like, why? They just don't think it out far enough. I'm like, well, you should do that next time earlier, or next time you just need to tweak this a little bit. It's like, it'll still come out fine. It'll be perfect. Just keep that in mind for next time. It'll be fucking killer, even better. Like I mentioned last time I was on here, it's just like you start off with a basic character that has nothing on them, and then all of a sudden you get a sword and a shield. You get a +1 here and a +1 here, and you get a +1 here, and all of a sudden you're like, you know, you just adding gear to your shit. The more you put into it, the more thinking you put into it, the better it comes out. You know, more brain power. Because nobody wants shit weed. Everybody wants to grow really, really good stuff. So they want to put as much work, as much effort, or as much love into it as they possibly can.
True that.
Cheers to the chat. Cheers to the panel. Thank you guys for coming through, man. And thank all the chat for coming through and participating. Fucking much love to everybody, man.
Yeah, it's been good kicking it, guys.
Yeah, definitely, y'all. Definitely been kicking it with y'all tonight. I'm about to head out, man. But thank y'all again for the night. Thank y'all for the chat. The chat's been live, man. The chat has been live.
Always good talking, man.
Soldiers, us no-till soldiers, or no-till goddess, we don't hate y'all, man. We don't hate nobody. Some of us might be uppity. Some of us are cool, man. That's just how the shit goes, I guess.
Yeah, it's all love, bro. It's all love.
But man, I'll catch y'all next week for sure, man.
All right, brother. Enjoy the evening, man. Have a good night, dog.
All right.
Peace.
Damn, hi guys. Is that your garden right now?
No, it was the last grow.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Still,
nice. You filled that thing out nice.
Yeah.
I disagree. You can kind of see emptiness.
No, there's a few holes, but still, I'm not gonna be like, that shit sucked. There's one whole fucking messing that you missed, bitch.
Yeah, we're always our own biggest critic, you know.
And you have to be, because they're always trying to strive to be better. You can if you're not your own biggest critic, who the fuck's gonna be? Some guy's gonna come up and blow smoke up your ass, and you're not gonna change. No, you want to strive to be even better. You want more crystals. You want bigger buds. You want tighter. You know, just always want to be better. If you're just satisfied with being number 2, go to fucking France. You know, I don't give a shit.
But Blunt and I were talking about the scrog theory, and he's a big fan of using like a second scrog layer and filling out his entire screen in veg and then flipping.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't know. I think I'm rocking off of more of like an HPS style where you kind of can get height limited pretty fast.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna try out and do it I flipped this at 3/4, and it kind of just didn't stretch enough to fill the screen. But
still, yeah, you spaced that thing pretty well. It looks like it yielded pretty decently too. Scrog method is really awesome, especially for strains like indica sativa hybrids or good sativas. You just start kind of growing them sideways and laying them flat, fill that whole fucker up, and then flip it. You know, but if you're gonna try to fill that whole screen up again, it's almost better to try to put the screen lower than you think you would need. That way you can, because the plant's going to get big. The more you train it, the bigger it's going to get, but it's just going to get flatter and more heads. So you don't want your screens like 3 or 4 feet. You want them actually a little bit smaller if you're going to start doing the small training, unless you're going to try doing like a if you're going to low stress train them, you just literally just keep tucking them. They just keep making more and more and more heads, or you can keep topping and topping and topping. Either way, the low stress training way it works.
I do that.
Is a little less.
I bend them down underneath the squares and push them out, but
yeah,
I'm gonna do, because this net's sitting at like 11 inches from the top of the soil. So then I'm gonna expand it out because it's only a 4x3 right now. I'm gonna make it a 4x4.
What pot size you can do it in there?
They're 10 gallons. So those are two guys in 10 gallons.
Yeah, those look good, dude.
They're sub-irrigated, so they grow super fast.
Yeah. Actually, I have a couple of buddies doing the Korean natural farming and sub-irrigated planters, and they're saying, dude, they're fucking loving it. A little bit of dialing left to do on that, but it's full organic hydro. So, well, you know what this is.
I mean, Blunt runs earth boxes, and he pours his ferment straight down into his res. I like to mix up a concentrated mix for a top feed. And I'll just only give them like half the water, but the same amount of ferments that I would normally give.
There you go. Yeah.
Just to push some of that mulch layer stuff down. But no, see, I'm going to do like a second screen at like 10 inches. And then Photon and I were poking around on AliExpress, and I found these, I think they're like 5-in-1 LED strip. And they're like 5650, so they're like super not that great and inefficient, but I'm going to do intra-canopy lighting.
That is a great selling point. Yeah, they're kind of shitty and inefficient, but...
But yeah, we just put them really close to the plant, and then the efficiency doesn't really matter.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. You know, your inverse square losses are just negligible. Because,
love that description, though.
But yeah, I mean, like I can get a set of 5 of these things for like $20 or something like that, and I'm just
damn, there you go.
Run some extra wire, do some stress testing on them and see how warm they get, and then probably just move them in between the canopy to get that extra like red light.
An extra couple of watts.
I'm running like a 4K and a 3K spectrum, so I'm kind of lacking in like that's like 640 to 700 range, which I'm not happy about, and I'm not really down with throwing some XPEs at a really big height. I grew in a space bucket, so I was born on like side lighting and hitting the plant from as many angles as you can for saturation. So I'm gonna try and achieve that in a tent too. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I mean, and then it's got one of those, it's got like I don't remember, like a 460 nanometer blue on there. So for whatever kind of photomorphogenic effects that.
Yeah, I think it's a 440.
That what that blue light gives you, like when people switch over to like 10K bulbs as finisher bulbs and stuff like that, I'll just be providing that at a really low flux density right on the plant. So I can kind of gauge and, see if the colas that are right next to the sticks are getting stressed or anything like that. It should be fun.
Man, I fucking love those 10K finishers. Those things are so fucking killer.
Yeah, I've definitely noticed if I I have just a 100-watt panel of these blue 440s, and if I put that on halfway through flower, like that side of the plant ends up like noticeably frostier than any other part of the grow.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I have there's a Solus Tech 10K for my Gravitas, and dude, I like to. A lot of people like to do the metal or the high pressure sodium all the way out for the weight, but I do the classic just let them veg them under. I don't have a 6K right now, so I just do a 10K for veg. They actually really, dude, they fucking love it. They're praying really hard to it actually, but I do the 10K for veg until about week 2 of flower, or until they start throwing pre-buds, and then I'll switch to high pressure sodium, and then about week 6 to 7 I'll go back to my 10Ks until my week 9 or 10. I'll do the classic metal halide, frosty versus weight. But then again, I'm not trying to grow for weight. I'm just trying to grow for me. So fuck it.
Fuck, I was muted again. No, there's definitely a lot of debate, especially in like the new DIY LED community, about different, light temperatures and efficacy and, photon output and just, I know Photon, Phantom, and I are kind of, I don't know if we're kind of on the old train or if we're onto something, but we like blue light for veg for tight internode spacing, and then Blunt's brought up before that, what benefit are you seeing out of that in flower? So, I mean, I don't want to offer like any expert opinions on the differences of, or like merits of running like a higher blue temperature or something crazy like that in veg. But,
well, I'm
working on like personal experience, experiments, and Photon is like better software to actually pump out real experiments and measuring techniques. So Grow Mouse said it, man. 2017 is gonna be a good year for DIY LED tech.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot of shit that's gonna go through. A lot of breakthroughs. I run a few different bulbs. My T5s, I believe, are 65s. It's a white spectrum. You can drop. There's not really any heat off the bulb, so you can drop them right on top of the plants, and they stack pretty fucking hard. But if you want them to stretch out, you just pull your light up. But with the 10Ks, a lot of people think that 10K doesn't do shit for veg or anything like that. I can visibly see it that they like it, and they actually they space pretty decently. They space definitely a lot better than they would with high pressure sodium. High pressure sodium is going to replicate more of like your summer, so they're going to be good looking plants, but they're going to be a little bit more spaced out. I feel like your 10K definitely helps in your end of flowering. It's going to replicate more of like your October. They're just going to start packing on glands versus your classic wake up, burn off, and then absorb all the energy and then pack on your weight. But that's just my 2 cents. But other than that, I feel red. Yeah, obviously red and then blue. But I like white and blue for veg and for flower, and then UV for finish.
No, yeah, for sure. It's just there's the lack of white paper studies. It's hard to have what am I talking about? Like scalable controls that you can apply to different growing situations where you have like a set standard or
definitely
rubric that you can push against, where we don't have that. There's just people throwing out too many variables right now just between strains, and because I mean, if you really want to get crazy into it with like selective light training, like blasting blue light specifically onto stems and keeping it off of leaves will achieve a different photomorphogenic effect than if you would hit with the blue light. So
that's interesting. I didn't know that.
And yet
that probably also explains why low stress training grows so quickly when you expose the stalk.
I mean, we're venturing out of my knowledge zone, and I definitely am not a fan of talking out of my ass. I do it sometimes, but I try not to. But yeah, blue light. It's actually, it's a lot more efficient to run. So it's nice. On paper, when you're calculating out your efficiency standards, and you're like, yeah, man, 195 lumens per watt.
Yeah, for real. I mean, even like the cheap China LEDs, I even hear that they just crush it in veg. Like they just plants love them. But obviously they're cheap. They're not going to do anything really in flower. But I hear they crush in veg, and they go out quick. But
yeah, but then that's hard to tell too, because like cannabis hits its saturation point in veg pretty quick at around like 600 ppfd or something like that. Somebody correct me, especially Blunt, you probably know. But yeah, no, I mean, light is light, photons are photons. So I mean, even if that LED is wasting a shitload of light outside of the correct spectrum, if it's pumping out enough of it in the right spectrum, your plants will grow. But you could just be, as opposed to using like a citizen or just a higher efficiency cob, but
Oh yeah, dude, I know people that use fucking T12s, and they're like, "This plant's growing fucking killer." I'm like, okay, yep. I mean, it's growing. It'll grow, but it ain't gonna grow the same. Like, your like 56 watts are not gonna do the same. You know, with the T12s, they just don't have any throw or anything like that. They're good for clones, but I'm talking like they've got like 6-foot plants underneath them. I'm like, damn, okay.
I'll chime in just because I'm finally listening here. There was a recent study this year, whatever, all the links, I'll provide it later, just about like they're growing arugula or some sort of micro lettuce that is fragrant, of course, and they tested the white LED array versus the red and blue spectrums. And the red and blue spectrums, despite my favoring white light, had higher essential oil content in those arrays, and that was the just desserts from that study. So I just wanted to throw that out.
Awesome. That's something I wondered about for a while, because that's something that I'm really interested in, is just super
that
loud.
Would be a shout out to
like
spiders over. I think the spider in all is the only one, I think, in the current sort of winners, despite maybe some other lower second tier winners in LED lighting. I think is like one of the only major 3 that's sort of running the red blue spectrum over a white cob.
I think they do have one that is a white. I think they have one panel they have as white, but I don't know. I might be thinking of somebody else.
Hey,
don't quote me on that one.
Phantom, you know what kind of diodes Fluence is running? Are they like Panasonic or something?
No idea.
Is Photon still here? Photon.
What was the question?
Yeah. So, I mean, Fluence is one of those guys that runs the dominated red-blue spectrum. I mean, there's a few of them out there, but I definitely, being in a green state and now having my light dialed into where I wanted it, I didn't have it where I wanted before. Now it is. And if the next run I do turns out, if I feel like the bud turns out well, I'll send it to a lab and see, and just kind of put those results out there just as like raw data. Because I don't have any good like blurple lights to grow under. I mean, I could make one out of like some XPE diodes or something, but I
have a question.
I'm a white LED fanboy,
Yeah, me too, of course. But we of course have our HPS lights. So there's my question: is without going to arrays, is there a way to push the LED output into the 3 to 4 Kelvin spectrum? Take your pick, 32, 34, whatever. Essentially, that looks pretty goldeny orange. Is there a LED? I know they come in varied flavors. Is there a 32, 3400K 5-watt LED out there for mounting, so to speak?
I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the 3000. They make them from like, depending on the manufacturer. I've seen them down to 27 up to 6500.
Are those ones as orange as I want them to be, or do they come off red?
No, they're pretty orange.
Cool.
Probably show one off right here. I got a pretty low Kelvin temp. Big ass LED right here.
I mean, even on this picture I see presented, I see on the left is pretty orange.
Yeah, that's I think that's a 3200K.
Perfect. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. You like that side of the photo?
That's a 200-watt. It's just like a smash tube on the left, and then a 300-watt on the right. The 300-watt has a mixed spectrum of like 5500K and 3200K, and the one on the left is all 3200K.
Are there any cob arrays with this sort of that?
Yeah, those are cobs. Those are 10-watt cobs.
Oh, I see. Yeah. But I mean,
I'm running them at 3.3 watts in a 10 in parallel, 3 in series array. That's folded in half on itself, so it looks like a 5x6. And these are actually pretty inefficient. They're like 35% less efficient than CXB 3590 at the same wattage.
Yeah, we need the super cobs.
Yeah, I was using these cheap ass cobs because I just didn't know any better, and actually it was Grow Mouse that turned me on to using higher efficiency cobs. So shout out to him. But I'm still using these lights up in my flower tent right now. Like they fucking output quite a bit of power. And
were you the self-professed white LED junkie, or was that someone else?
Somebody else.
Yeah. It would be cool to see a Spectrum King with 32 Ks mounted in that little bitch. I'd
like to see a Spectrum King, period, and then I can measure it with a spectrometer, because they don't have any data on their website.
I know the distributors here. I'm wearing their damn hat on my thing, but the retail is still $1,500. We discussed that earlier.
Yeah.
I would have to literally trade the owners a piece of furniture from my store, and that's how the deal would go down if I were to ever own a Spectrum King.
Yeah, this light right here is a 3200K 10-watt diodes, also ran at 3. Actually, these are being run at 6 watts a piece. And then I've got a 50-watt blue 440 nanometer cob right in the middle. It's kind of like a veg spectrum to even it out. And the plants love this light, along with that other one with the red cobs I was showing earlier. But this is a 270-watt light, and the plants like my 110-watt CXB light with the red cobs that I was showing earlier. They like that light better, at less than half the wattage. So
not to
the
change
quality
the
of cobs does matter.
Last week we were talking, or last week or the week before, we were talking about that guy that was doing the tap water versus RO water cloning experiment. Who was that, and how did that go?
It was for Growly.
Growly?
Yeah, I don't know how that ended up resulting though. Does anybody else know?
No idea.
Find it right now.
I think that's FREGROWLI.
Yeah, found it. Let's see here. Reverse osmosis on top, dechlorinated tap water on bottom. These are the best 2 so far, day 8. We'll take a better look in a few days. Looks like the tap water are actually beating the RO water right now.
Huh.
That's interesting.
That's science, though. Love it. Like not skewing your results to fit what you think should work better.
And you did both with Clonex.
I just typed my response.
I've tried to do that one like 6 or 7 times, but I always fucking forget what I'm doing and forget to check the results. I pull a tally. Yeah, one day he just got too high and kind of wandered off.
Yeah, I think we all do that, bro.
Wookiee, what's good, brother?
Oh, not much, man. Just stop back in and say what's up again. Got a couple minutes.
You missed us, dog. Keep it real. I know you missed us.
Taking a break from the build. I was listening and I heard something that made me want to jump in, and then I forget what it was now.
Again, got high and then kind of wandered off again.
Yeah, something like that. I see Grandmaster Level still chilling in the chat though. What's up, brother? Vader OG hanging out. What's going on, Vader? The Dark Lord is in the house.
Anybody follow Lighthead 420 and his Death Star?
Yeah, dude.
Fucking.
That shit's fucking.
Now finally a year of Edge.
Man, I just want to say shout out to the whole chat, man. Fucking everybody's been fucking hanging out with us. Woody fucking been here from the start. Fucking Captain Kindbud always holding it down. Shout out to the whole chat, man. Shout out to all you guys for coming through and kicking it with us on this Saturday, man.
For real.
Everybody could have. Oh shit! Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for coming. We appreciate it.
I was gonna come last week, but I was a little wrapped up.
Oh, I already know, man. I was on your Instagram. I said, "How's your hand doing, bro? How's your hands doing, bro? You doing better?"
Dude, they are fucked. Yeah, I'm going to UC Davis in 2 days to go get examined by a professional here in a second. One hand's like decent, the other hand is just fucking torched.
Well, I hope you get better fast, bro. Fucking that shit looks painful as fuck. I could only imagine how it feels. So send my best wishes your way, man. I hope you get better, bro.
Definitely would not recommend it to anybody. Anybody thinking about doing that, don't fucking do it because it's not worth it. Actually do it if it's going to save your fucking house and everything else. But if you're like, hey, I'm going to set my arm on fire, don't do that shit. It's not worth it.
Was it the type of fire that a fire extinguisher wouldn't have helped, or
no? It was an oil fire, grease fire.
And it already spread outside of the pan.
But I didn't have one on hand, unfortunately. And actually, I did that whole thing within about 20 seconds.
I kind of had a oh shit moment the other day when I was just, going through my room, my grow room, and I'm just like, I don't even have a fucking fire extinguisher in here, bro. I better get a fire extinguisher.
Always good to have one, definitely. I need to get one in here too.
No, not just it literally. I mean, everybody needs a fire extinguisher, especially if you're growing. And you know what I'm saying.
I was deep frying some fish sticks for us for lunch, so there was like, I don't know, a couple inches of oil in the pan, and it just went straight the fuck up, like 4 foot, like right up the wall. And I was like, oh fuck. So yeah, I grabbed the side of it, and I had about 2 feet of flame going on, like it torched everything all the way up to my fucking elbow.
No, that's dude, props to you, bro. I mean, you fucking, like you said, you saved your house, bro. That's fucking,
save my house, save my family, save my pets.
People will be able to do that, bro. Like, that's and you sacrificed your hands, bro. That's rough. I've had I was telling the guys in chat before when we weren't streaming, I had broken both my wrists at the same time before. So I know what you're going through, bro. No use of your hands. I know what you're going through, bro, and I feel you. Just we'll leave it at that.
Like, literally, with this, I can't really. Yeah, I'm in constant pain. Like,
yeah, and I imagine your hands aren't much.
They're like, hey, take a Norco every 4 hours. I'm like, okay, every 30 minutes, because I'm just rolling over in pain.
I feel your pain. I know what you're going through.
Hey, one shot. Captain Kindbud wants to know if you can explain your ginger, garlic, and cinnamon ferment a little bit, how to make it.
You take garlic, cinnamon, ginger, all equal weights. You can add angelica and licorice root if you want. You take them all equal weights. With the cinnamon, you're going to want to crush it. You do not want to make it into powder. If you make it into powder, it will not extract. But you crush them also. They're all pretty well, like, small. And then you take beer, any kind, and float them just a little teeny tiny bit, just enough so it actually is going to soak it up. You're trying to re-moisten the cinnamon, ginger, garlic, because you're doing roots pretty much. So you're trying to add moisture content to them. You don't really need to do it to the garlic, but you want to do it to the cinnamon and the ginger. Let that sit for 24 hours open, and then you add equal weight sugar to those after 24 hours. And then you let those sit, or you mix them really well, and then you let them sit at least 10 days. And then from there, you strain them, add them equal 1 to 1 to 1, and then you use that 1 teaspoon a gallon every foliar feed, every water, every feed. Like, you really kind of, it's not really a nutrient. It's more around more of a pesticide. Yeah, it's more of a pesticide. It's actually a pest. Mites don't like it. Beneficial life love it. Like, doesn't bother ladybugs, doesn't bother worms, doesn't bother predator mites, doesn't bother lacewings, any of those. Bad life fucking hate it though. Ants hate it. Aphids hate it. Gnats hate it. Yeah, it's killer, and it actually increases some of your essential oils because it's got the sulfur from the garlic. Yeah, that shit's killer.
Dope. That's dope.
Mine's a little fucking crazy though. Like I've got hella shit in mine. Like right now, and just this one I made a while. Really like expiration date if you keep adding to them and you keep them active. This one right here has actually got a what is it? Fermented lemon, potato, habanero, cilantro, garlic, basil, chives, rosemary, dillweed, mint, ginger, cinnamon, EM1, molasses, water, FFA, IMO, azos, yeast, habanero, habanero extract, fermented neem seed meal, fermented canna leaves, and fermented cinnamon. And then if you don't use your batch in 90 days, you actually want to add over 40 proof alcohol to it, and that'll give it over a year shelf life.
Word.
And
Well,
just
hey,
mix it up.
I know. We've been talking offline about how we need to cut these streams a little bit shorter than 6 hours, like we have been. So, I think it's a good time, probably a good spot here. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Hold on, we still got to
Good
address.
shit. What good shit, brother? I hate being the fucking bearer of bad news, man.
We still got to address the he-she's.
The he-she's.
Where is Legal at? Legal's supposed to be here for that topic.
Yeah,
I thought he was
he
working.
asked me to.
Well, you know what? It's a good.
Shoot.
We got. That's a good time to do that. Actually, we got Vader OG in the chat. So I'm sure he'll be able to chime in the chat and drop us a little insight if we're kind of going off track. But you're talking about the discussion we were having the night before, right?
Yeah, essentially the topic of intersex versus just something that's throwing like nanners.
Okay, so we were discussing it. Well, I don't know if we want to go into specifics, but we're just there's a difference between there's a discernible difference between a plant that's stressed out throwing nanners, which is a female plant's natural process, when it thinks it's dying or something's wrong, to try to pollinate itself, to carry on
and
its
come back
genetics.
in seed form and try again.
Right. So that is different than an actual hermaphrodite plant, which is essentially a plant that shows both female and male parts. So you're gonna have pistils as well as the pollen sacs.
Well, are you talking late Hermes, or are you talking?
We're talking about it could be. We're talking about
a pollen sac and a guy with a vagina and a fucking penis is a Hermes, isn't he?
No, we're talking about specifically like a plant, as their buds are forming, not something that happens late in flower from stress, but something that initially shows
genetically bred incorrect.
Correct. Like it. So we were trying to talk about it, and we were debating whether or not it's a genetic. It can be in the genetics of the plant. Okay, so look. Yeah, Blunt's got a picture up right there. So this is a plant that has both female pistils. You can see the female bud on the right, as well as the male pollen sacs forming on the left. This is the same plant, and we were under the impression that this, or we still are, but that this is a hermaphrodite, not this pollen sacs forming in this way is not something that can.
Are there actual bananas, or is it our actual male balls?
They're actual male balls, male part. Yeah, they're not. This is not
right?
They are full male parts.
Yeah, this is not nanners coming out of a female bud.
Yeah, there's certain. Yeah, fucking cherry pie does that stupid shit. It's fucking weird as fuck, and it won't throw pollen. The sacs will try to open, but they only will give you like 6 beans on that one plant. It doesn't actually hit really anything else. Yeah, those things are fucking weird as shit. To me, that's confused as fuck genetics. And you get that shit when you inbreed. Think about like Queen Elizabeth and all the kings that had to fuck their brothers and fuck their brothers and fuck their brothers and fuck their eventually they couldn't even fucking walk because they were so fucked up. That's something that's happening right now to that cherry pie. It's fucked up.
I'm not so sure that it's the exact same thing as that.
No, but I feel like there's different expressions of that too.
But this is something
like
I think
that after a while will start herming if they're stressed out, like kept as a mother, like strains that you grow naturally and they don't fucking hermy at all. And then if you cut off a mom that's just been pissed off for a while and has no vigor left, sometimes those fuckers will hermy, like even if they're grown nice.
No, so what we're talking about though, World One Shot.
The topic really arose as a question of whether or not, when you see full intersex plants, if that is a result of stress via environment, nutrients, whatever it be, or if that's a result of genetics.
Or exactly. And
could I add something?
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily we've been talking about the environmental stresses versus genetic predisposition to being to having these conditions, but I guess I just wanted to add a little bit of information, and it's kind of I don't know if I should even add it really, because it doesn't necessarily add to the genetic versus environmental debate. But I had a little bit of information that I was looking up earlier that I kind of cleared up for myself in terms of plant systematics and the kind of the botany behind this. And I kind of maybe wanted to touch on a little bit of the nomenclature as to what exactly this is that we're looking at, or that we were just looking at with the aggregate male flowers. And
there you go.
I guess so I guess just to be on the same page, and this has nothing to do with the genetic versus environmental debate, but in terms of the nomenclature, I guess that plants, or I guess angiosperms, specifically flowering plants, can have different types of sexual systems. And so the basic ones that you kind of learn in like a basic biology are monoecious and dioecious, or the plants being monoecious or dioecious is what's that's known as. But I guess monoecious, referring to one house, means that there are both flowers that have both sexes, that are both male and female on the plant, on the individual plant itself, one house. Whereas hermaphroditism actually refers to the individual flower having both male and female parts, or being what they call perfect. So there's, I guess, there's a difference between hermaphroditism and, I guess it's kind of like a kind of bullshit semantics type of deal. But I would say that nanners, thinking about it now, and I would have to, I don't want to really talk out of my ass, I'd have to get a plant dissecting scope or something and actually take a look at nanners. But I would say that nanners would probably be hermaphroditism technically, whereas when you see the aggregate group of balls of flowers as well as separate female gynoecium or plant parts, that technically would be monoecious, which would be that the plant would have both balls, or androecium and gynoecium, on the actual individual, both male and female parts, as opposed to dioecious, which means two houses, which is, individuals in the population have separate individuals have female parts and separate individuals have male parts, which, I don't know, it's kind of interesting that cannabis seems to have multiple sexual systems, and that it's usually dioecious, but obviously in the case of this aggregate balls, it's seems like it's monoecious. And then we always see the typical Hermy nanner type of flowers popping up, which again I would think would be technically considered hermaphroditism itself. But I guess I just wanted to clear that up. I guess it's kind of a little tangenty, but
That's how I understood it as well, always, from like my reading of everything. So,
Yeah, so I think that's basically, you know, what we wanted to discuss. I think everybody sounds like they're on the same page that, you know, there is definitely a difference between, you know, that, or basically that specific, like that picture we were showing, when a plant's showing that specific type of, you know, hermaphroditism, or however you want whatever you want to call it. This is not something that can be caused by stress, or this is not something that grower, you know, that could be the grower's fault, let's say.
No, if you gave that clip to 20 people, it's going to do the same thing no matter.
Yeah, exactly. That this is genetic expression by the plant, and that's just what we wanted to clear up.
And that's not necessarily to go and shit on any breeders or anything in specific. Like, it has nothing to do with that. Like, it's just within the plants, and like some people will end up having that depending on what they work on, and it comes down to testing and all that, you know.
Well, hang on. Vader just said some things can influence it to show this trait. So he's not in here, so I don't know if we can.
I think PB has been trying to throw in for a little bit.
I'm listening. I'm here.
Plant builder.
What's up, bro? Trying to keep my shit together here.
Keep it together, bro. Keep it together, PB.
Word.
Hey, yo, somebody's asked twice in the chat. Does anybody know anything about esters or how they work with terpenes? This is the second time he's asked this question.
Ooh, excuse me. I thought we were talking about intersex, yo.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. Fuck. I just seen him drop that question like an hour ago. Nobody answered. So.
Oh, but I didn't answer GML's question about flushing either.
So, well, you know what? I want.
Hold on. I just sorry. I take a bit of time here. I sent in my friend, we sent in a purple indica times O'Hays set of tissue samples to Phylos Genetics.
Say what?
To get one of their cool sexing tests. We didn't put it on the Phylos Galaxy. We may, but we put another clone onto the other one. What's it called? Big Kev's Galaxy. Canopedia. It's called Juno's Gift. You can fucking check it out. Anyway, so when you get, and of course, hashtag Remo has some green screen bullshit. They offer this testing too. And you can send in samples of which you'll literally get. And that was the cool part, is that like Phylos returned data within the week, literally like 5 days, which is like quicker than I can sex under putting a clone under light. So I thought that was false. It's actually true. And what these companies like Phylos and Green Screen do is a PCR test in which the reagent, of course, dissolves little bits of DNA and detects if they're there or not quantifies them. And a different region, of course, will tell you the presence of the X part of the chromosome, known for sex determination, and another region will tell you if the Y is there. And so the only true known determination in this kind of sex testing is for true female, and the rest fall into the whole intersex category. And it's not really hard to denominate or delineate that when you sort of just look at the X and XX, which is of course a true female, and if your PCR region for the Y did not detect anything, you know you have a true female, and you can report that data back and charge $30 or whatever, or $100 or anything else that reported male PCR. Now there would be technically true male testing. It's not available at this time, but if the region, of course, detects the presence of the X and the Y snippets of the chromosome, then they can go forth and tell you that this is a non-female. And all the non-females, both behaving in a wide array of spectrums, and as Vader says, can be environmentally influenced to sort of show you their craziness that's hidden within. And that's all totally within the realm of discussion. And the last thing I wanted to add was just so what you're not talking about is the whole, if you all watch Hash Church and Chimera is talking about as well, is that the male, the thing that's so aptly named Y, is simply just a piece of broken X chromosome that is simply sort of mutated or gone awry. And that simply says that all males are pieces of material that have gone awry. And when we talk about these proliferations and manners that we were describing a few minutes ago, then metaphorically, not truly, of course, that little piece of broken off Y is simply presenting itself in your floral fucking arrays. That's it. And thanks for tonight. If you end it early, that's cool, but I love the show because it goes the fucking distance. So anyways, I'll put it back to you guys.
Show and half. We can make like couple 3-hour shows, make the streams like, you know, if we could do that, maybe that would help some people with the longer ones.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could just like chop this one off right now and then just start another one, like the after hours.
Yeah, I think us trying to cut the streams was accessibility to viewers, especially because we got a lot of knowledge coming out here, and it's kind of hard to sift through a 6-hour stream to find something, But we're just trying to. I think Monster and the brains behind this are trying to figure out, what's the best balance for the viewers, for keeping you guys around and to come chill with us, but also to have that open access to content. You know what I'm saying?
Base and the people wanting to come back and watch the videos and get the information they need. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we love our we love our viewers, and shout out to all you guys because it's the same people, every stream, and we're not trying to do things to only keep just the homies around. Like if the homies come around and they're constantly in chat, that's cool, but we're here to provide a service and to put out knowledge, and if the subscribers come, they come, but that's about it.
Yeah, for sure. I noticed in the chat somebody was talking about environmental stress. Yeah, there's several ways that a plant will more than likely hermy. A lot of pure sativas don't like to be fucked with, really. They don't like to be top crop. And they're in the jungle. They're trying to fight with other plants, but they're not really getting hit by other things walking by and getting trained a lot. So like even just ripping off an arm on a pure sativa can make it hermy if the genetics aren't completely stable. With feminized seeds have a higher hermy rate too for environmental stress, for light leaks. Light leak will hit one bud. That one bud will actually turn male into that one part and pollinate the rest of the room. Light will do that, but it will not do it on all strains. Some strains can actually take light leaks. I knew a guy that left his fucking door open and left light on his whole crop the whole time, and he had strains that would not do it no matter what. But it's a good way to test them. Super cropping late, super cropping in general sometimes will actually put a lot of stress on the strain. Overfeeding with synthetics, sometimes pushing a strain too hard will do that. They're a little bit less temperamental with that in organics than they do synthetics. Growing bag seeds of bag seeds of bag seeds is more of the genetic way that's bad, but not a grower problem. It's like that old High Times saying, oh yeah, Bill bought seeds that were from a male and a female, and then they went to seed. He grew the seed the next year, and it was twice as big and twice as potent. He went to seed again, and then he grew that seed, and it was pretty good, but it wasn't quite as good. The year after that, it was shit, and went all to seed. Because there wasn't a male involved. It was just female on itself, on itself, on itself, on itself, on itself.
All right. Yeah, I agree. One shot. There's definitely a array of factors that can cause that late hermaphrodism or hermaphrodism in general. But yeah, about what I have to say. Yeah, light, temperature, genetic degradation. Yeah, just a variety of shit. In terms of like what we were talking about earlier, in terms of the monaceae or the monoecious type of plant, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I don't. Anecdotally, I would say that any time that I've ever experienced that type of condition, that it definitely seemed to be a genetic condition. But again, that's a little bit anecdotal.
You can actually see that on certain plants as they sex. Like sometimes one side of them will go female, female, and you turn it over and male, female, male, female, and then you flower it, and then it is a hermy.
Yep.
Fucking Hermes, bro. They'll fuck you up. That's
that good old chick
shitty.
with dick, yo. A hooker with a penis.
Yeah. Best advice is if you see those balls, chop that shit down.
If you see balls, the first thing you need to do is one of two things: lick your fingers and pull it off, and either throw it away or eat it, or just bring a water bottle in there and spray that whole fucking room down, because moisture kills pollen. So if you spray with water, you'll kill the pollen in there without trying to spread it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't muted. My bad. And that's the whole rub, is the fucking, even if you truly capture and good old Philo sends you back in XX denomination, you have a true female, is that over time and over degradation and through erosion, so to speak, it is entirely possible for your true female to go, and lose her snippet, so to speak, and revert to maleness, and that is part of its genius.
If it goes late, right?
And so this coincides.
Like if you say like
this agrees with what you guys are saying. Hold on a sec.
17.
Or don't.
No, sorry.
And and sort of cull with ferocity, and cull with like you're a fucking Genghis Khan or whatever. And you can go after that, and you will certainly find. I've found affinity, of course, for late flowering plants that are, of course, in the intersex category. I couldn't even tell you if I've ever met a true female plant. That's for sure. Maybe I haven't met this actual clone that was sexed as true female, but maybe this is like one of the first invocations that I actually can verify. So anyways, just want to say, like, you have to treat thy females right.
Yes, definitely.
And that's all you can really do. And do it with vigor, and do it with passion, and do it with lust, so to speak.
Yeah, treat your ladies right. Treat them ladies right.
And you don't even know if it's a lady. And truly, all this stuff you're talking about is in this like intersex category, and it's all in that category, and you're just gonna have to live and deal with it.
Gotta live with those balls, man, in this precarious situations. That's life.
Hell yeah! Shout out to the chat, man. Fucking chat is going down right now. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Once again, Mr. One Shot, we thank you for coming through, brother. Plant Builder, much love. We appreciate you coming through and chopping it up with us, man. Hopefully to see you back here soon.
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to McConaughey for 840 on Instagram. He's one of the homies, and he came over from the other live stream that was going on. So shout out to him.
I think McConaughey comes through pretty frequently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, much
he's
love.
on Instagram.
Hell yeah, that's what's up. Much love to McConaughey, man.
Yeah, and
Hoss Farms wanted to ask, what about nanners and the buds? That's a grower problem. That's not a genetic problem. You have a light leak or something in your room going on, bud.
Yeah, I think It's kind of both. Like
it could be both.
You can have plants that will take more, light leaks or whatever than other plants.
Definitely.
I've had
We have
like
Cookie that
crop where like only 2 or 3 plants of the same strain. I've had crops where like only 1 or 2 plants of the same strain hermed, and the rest of them were fine. But they all got the same light leaks, So I mean, yeah, it is a light leak problem, but some strains are definitely more prone to throwing nanners. Just like if you look at them wrong,
And it seems that certain plants won't take pollen like other ones will. Even if you have something that has a dick and throws pollen on you, some strains don't really accept pollen very well. So you might not get everything in that room. Might not be seeded. You might find seeds in certain things. You might not find any in others. Like
I didn't find any seeds in that crop, and it was like the 2 plants that were right in front of the fan.
You're really not going to find any fucking seeds in OG Kush breath. That plant is hard as fuck to throw seeds on, to make seeds with.
Bro, I find seeds in OG all the fucking time, dog.
No, not OG Kush breath.
Oh, okay.
OG Kush breath.
OG Kush breath. Okay, word.
That plant is hard as fuck to pollinate.
Word.
It's harder than 398 Bubba.
Yeah, I don't have any experience with that strain.
Just hard. They grow slow.
It was like clone only.
It is, yeah.
No, I've grown that. I was talking about the OG Kush breath.
Yeah, OG, yeah. It's
hell yeah.
Both under.
That's what's up. And I'm sure we'll revisit this topic because it is some shit going on in the community right now with people getting a lot of hermaphroditism going on. So I'm sure we'll revisit this topic in the
main
near
thing you got to
future.
do is more times than not, it's not the seed's fault. More times you need to revisit what you're doing. You either overfed, your pH was off, something was either testy, either give it a rerun. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? It's going to go to seed again, but give it a rerun. If it's that good, give it a fucking rerun. Don't stress it out as much. See if it can take it. Because for instance, like Chem 4, you have to give root space or it'll hermy. Chem D, it'll hermy no matter what, week 6. Yoda OG, same thing, week 6. Doesn't matter how you grow it. SR71, if it's not perfectly happy, week 6. If it's right on point, week 9. That's just what it does. But it's that good, it still stays around. Cherry Pie throws fucking balls week 2 to 6. It's still around. Like, it's that good. People sit there and fuck with it. They'll pluck off the male parts because it's that good.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. Like Chem is originally hermy. Because it's like even Chem says they're all hermy. Like they all will throw seeds in their own way if you don't grow them all perfect. Some of them you have to grow, or they do it no matter what. Some of them, if you grow right, they won't do it though. Like I got good at growing that Chem 4. That shit was loving life when I was growing it. Big old fat fucking colas on that fucker.
I'll be right back.
Word. So what do you guys say? We want to wrap this show up before we get too long?
Yeah, sounds good to me unless you guys got another topic or something else you want to talk about.
I want an after party.
Yeah, no, we usually kick it after the show and chill and sesh. So, but yeah, no, if nobody else has got any topics or anything, if the chat's all questioned out, no need to stretch it any longer than it needs to be.
What would you say, Blank? Take us out, brother.
I think he said he'd be right back.
Oh, Blunt's not around? Well, hopefully he comes back.
Right.
And doesn't leave us just fucking rocking all night and shit. Or this would be the start of the 24-hour stream right here.
Right. There you go.
Ranger H says not always. Seen some plants with late nanners that never make pollen. So yeah, sometimes they won't make pollen, sometimes they won't throw pollen, but if you let it go long enough in the flowering state, that's what they're going to want to do. They're not going to keep trying to make flowers. They're going to try to restart themselves. So that's how they do it, is come back in seed form.
Yeah, I've definitely seen that late sterility and the late.
Those are the only pollen that you want, is super, super late Hermy pollen. Well, not the only pollen you want. That's the only Hermy pollen I feel like you really want to fuck with.
You mean for like using like feminizing seeds or whatever?
Just for breeding in general. You don't. You're trying to make Michael Jordan with somebody that's already like kind of crippled, like that's either has some genetic trait that's wrong with them. That's why that they do what they do. You're not going to get the strongest, best thing out of something that's already kind of fucked up. Like it's already gonna. You need to know what it's slept with, because you're gonna get whatever it's already slept with. You feel me? Like if it's already been feminized in the strain line a few times, you're gonna probably get higher female count. If you get that Hermes, more than likely either the male was so stable that it pulled the Hermy out of it, or you're gonna find several Hermes in it. If you keep doing female on female on female on female on female with no male, you're gonna eventually run a fucking ton of Hermes.
Nothing's on fire, and I got a piece of chocolate.
He's alive.
Oh, that fire story. That was SoCal, right? Anybody? SoCal, you're the one that burned your hand, right?
No.
It was World Shot.
Oh, yeah. My bad, dude. That sucks and everything, but that reminded me of like this one time that was pretty fucking funny. I like came home drunk one night. My buddy dropped me off, and I like decided to make some bacon. So I made some bacon and passed out. And like, the fucking fire department was knocking on my door at like 6:30 in the morning. And I like ran upstairs in my underwear, and they're like, it's just smoky as fuck. Like I could barely even see through my house. And the fire department was like, "Sir, are you okay?" Blah blah blah. I was like, "Fuck, yeah, I'm fine. I just gotta go turn off the fucking stove. I'm burning bacon." And they're like, "We got to clear the house." And I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "You have 2 cars in the driveway. Who else is here?" And I was like, "Nobody's here." And they're like, we have to search your house. We have to clear the house." I was like, "Fuck no, you're not. Like, come back with a warrant. Get out of here." And yeah, they just left. But it was pretty fucking funny.
Grow Jack says, "I'll never grow ChemDog, PM prone." Every single old strain is PM prone. Like PM is actually something that's, I feel, is more environmental prone. It doesn't matter if the strain has PM or not. If your environment is over 60% humidity, PM has the chance to breed if it's there. People say use a sulfur burner. I feel you only use your sulfur burner when there's no plants in there, and you're using it to kill powdery mildew, because it will only actually breed where it does not lie. But again, if you put it on your plant, it only breeds where it doesn't lie. So it's actually going to just fucking hide until you get your shit figured out, or until the sulfur wears off, and then it's going to sit on your stalk and then rebreed. And it's actually a spore that we breed. We breathe, and it actually puts a footnote in the leaf of the tissue of the plant, and just comes out whenever the fuck the environmental conditions are ready for it to breed. So it's always going to be there in the plant, because if it already has
it's like a virus, isn't it?
Blow up. And if it actually does blow up, you need to get your humidity down. And like I said, MycoStop is a great product. It's actually just beneficial bacteria that actually eat powdery mildew and live on your plant surface and just fucking beat the shit out of it. And actually lacto helps with it. And then you can also harness a PNSB, which is purple non-sulfuric bacteria. It's a bacteria that breeds in sunlight and eats powdery mildew.
I'm actually kind of
zoned out. Sorry, go ahead.
I hear a lot about people when they make their their initial culture for their lactic acid bacteria, about leaving it sit out to allow photosynthetic and purple non-sulfur bacteria in there.
I've actually got a really good picture. I feel like I was the first person to do that, honestly. And 6 months to a year back on my page, I actually cultured trichoderma, photosynthetic bacteria. It was like purple, pink, red, green, brown, white. Yeah, there was hella fucking colors in it, but it was just.
Well, I mean, I've poked into purple non-sulfur
bacteria is present, it will culture into your main bacteria culture. But you need to remember, if you have nitrogen fixers in there, you only want to use that in veg, because you don't want, you don't want to overdo your nitro and flower late.
From the white paper,
to culture PNSBs, you need light. You need to apply light.
And you need months. PNSBs take months to culture. They aren't this fast-acting culture like our lactic acid.
Well, PNSB you actually go get, but they're actually synthetic bacteria is present on a lot of plant surfaces. So if it's actually around, you're going to get small cultures of it in there. But when they recommend you go getting your PNSB, they say you want to actually get it off of swirling pools of water in river, because it's actually sitting on the top layer of the river, breeding in water on the surface in the sunlight.
I feel like I'll disagree with that, because purple non-sulfur bacteria has been known to essentially maintain the life in estuaries regardless of pollution or any kind of human inputs that would normally hamper an ecological system. And that's because they live in the mud and they can't be killed off by acidic or anaerobic conditions. And then when they do get access to light, they're autotrophs and they produce energy for the environment.
They're actually not autotrophs. I forget what the technical term is, but they're not autotrophs. Okay. They still need a carbon source.
There's Blunt coming in for keeping me straight. Thanks, man. No, for
real.
Like,
my understanding of the culturing of it is that you culture it from the method that I saw was out the side of a lake. You take at a very, very shallow point, you take the
just
not the surface water, but the top layer of the bottom, and you take that and you culture from that. Yeah, the top layer of the silt.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, that's where the purple non-sulfur bacteria colonizes. And I don't know, I got busy, but it's one of my kind of experiments I want to try, is set up a light chamber at the correct, semi-heating area, range for purple non-sulfur bacteria proliferation, and then provide it, because there's these isolation media that you're supposed to mix with a bunch of crazy salt. And there's someone on just one forum that I found who did it with some crappy fish emulsion. So I want to try and give it, just a tiny bit of fish hydro powder, or maybe a drop of fish amino acid in the water, and just try different levels.
There you go.
And then stick it in a contained environment with a light source and constant heat, or a controlled heat. And
might even add just a tiny bit of the IMOs just for the microbes.
Well, no, because
I would like to say that a great source to check out would be on The Logical Gardener. Tim Wilson did, where he detailed his culturing of PNSBs, and then somebody else also.
I don't mean to cut you off, but is that the one with the lamp, and he did it in a box with a heating pad?
That lamp was actually acting as the heat source the whole time, and yeah,
that's the one so.
Yeah. So also in that thread, though, they link up to a study that was done, which is where I pulled the lake culture from. Another method, which is talked about on the Farmers Alliance, where they somehow culture it using egg in water and leaving it outside for a period of time. But I don't know the details of that, so I can't really speak to that. But that info is out there on the PFA someplace.
It's just kind of always bugged me, especially about the purple non-sulfur bacteria, just because of how versatile of a microbe it is and how resilient it is to change. It's probably one of the most resilient ones in my opinion. But it takes work to get. And guys like EM1 and stuff, I don't know their culture method, but they have lab equipment at their disposal to be able to look at a sample media.
Well, why not just culture from EM1?
I mean, I could,
actual store-bought one from Hawaii.
I'm difficult, and I like to do things the hard way.
Me too. Yeah. Not to change the subject or anything, but they were back to PM. Somebody was saying, asking if it was systemic. I think they've actually just done research on it and found out that it is not systemic, but it definitely
wanted to touch on. It's definitely not systemic, but it is basically everywhere. Like the spores are basically everywhere. It's pretty ubiquitous. Yeah. So
roses,
if the environment is for it to
it's not
take hold, it will take hold.
Yeah, if it's not on your plants physically, more than likely it's on some wood that you have in your room that's a spore that's locked on that wood that keeps breeding and it just keeps falling on your fucking plants. So that's why you need to treat your room really well. But yeah, the mycostop is not, I do not believe is systemic either, but the powdery mildew I believe is, they said is not systemic. But it definitely does fucking hang around on old clips, which doesn't really make a lot of sense. I think it takes a footnote in them, but it's not. It doesn't bond to their DNA, because that's what systemic is. I'm finally seeing your pictures of your LEDs.
Well, I don't know about bonding to the DNA, but in the cell at least.
Yeah, some type of carrier attachment, or, you know,
some endogenous
type of protein, and hitching a ride with, or like bonding it into a carrier protein or some random shit. I don't know.
No, well, within the cell is what I'm saying. You know, like obviously
this is your kingdom, man. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is your kingdom. This is your expertise.
What's that?
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm like earlier when you broke down the scientific terminology, and you know how a male and female parts in the perfect plant and stuff. It was kind of cool to see it from the botany side, because nobody wants to read that shit, man. It's boring.
Yeah, systemics is pretty fucking, and yeah, anatomy and shit like that can be pretty boring.
Yeah, it's the term. I don't know. What gets me is the terminology. It's just like a whole different universe of words that I'm not used to. They don't have the same parts as me.
Somewhat. Yeah, fucking, what are you guys smoking on?
Fuck, dude, I got a whole bunch of shit dropped on me today. I'm very blessed for that shit.
I got some freshly harvested Blue Dream I'm smoking on right here.
I'm gonna roll a
Blue
joint.
Dream's always a good one to go back to.
Yeah.
Even
I don't care how much everybody fucking
like
thinks
one
on
of my
fucking
highest
Blue Dream, dude.
But this time it just like frosted up super tough and then got really crispy. So, you know, I wasn't really happy with the yield, but I'm really happy with the smoke.
Yeah, Blue Dream's definitely a good one to roll back to. I mean, hella people bust on Blue Dream's nuts, but I mean, you can't deny it. It's fucking blueberry, and it definitely smacks you. I mean, if you're pissed off about it, you've obviously grown fucking 99 of them, and you had too many.
I got my platinum cookies as always.
Oh, fucking dying. I'm smoking Extreme OG.
All right, light them out of papers.
What'd you say? Word.
Are you torching up?
No. Yeah.
Fucking blunt with this torch.
We're still on the air, right?
I think.
I don't think we officially ended. So powdery mildew, intra, and of course, as you guys of course alluded to, intercellular fungi. This is lovely, of course, hyphae. That's its true brilliance. It's like microfiber, laser-like strands, can bend space and time. And then, of course, it's like brutal conidia, its sporous offshooting, like the fruiting fungi. That, of course, as you say, like harbor in wood and damp and moist places, and can sort of be prolific. And of course, as is plant life prolific, we all live in somewhat of a proximity to plant life, and that's truly really the only place that this intracellular fungi will live in its dormancy, little egg-like state. It's not that's sort of more of a survival mechanism than its actual life state. And so I did want to interject that it's not quite as prolific as we might extremely or possibly tritely say, that where it does exist is in the plants, and where it does exist is in the human behavior of trading plants, and where it does exist is when we let, of course, this proliferate to like exude bazillions of conidia and into sort of an environment in a basement with exposed wood, where we're going to constantly sort of fight the re-eruption of the rash, so to speak. And that's truly what this is the athlete's foot of plants. And I'm not trying to make this base metaphor there. What I'm trying to say is that it exists like pests in human behavior, that it is translated within plants 99 times out of 100 than it is from some, external situation in which off the roses it embeds itself in the wood and then onto your plants. I'm sorry, but that's just not the way it's happening. It's happening because we all exist in the community that is plant sharing, and that's how that's truly how it's coming on. And for those who are sprouting seeds into powdery mildew environments, to the point where, like myself, you're wondering if grains are injected or non-injected into the plantlet state, we have to go back to the human behavior that you're putting them in a previous grow environment that exists. But if we were to sort of clean up the environment and go into the center room of the building, these problems don't exist, and through discipline, through behavior, you really can eradicate them and get clean plant material and exist in the cleanliness. And so there's sort of very physical and behavioral ways around this problem. And I just wanted to chime in and to say that it's not so the end is nigh, where powdery mildew is lurking everywhere, and as long as we make it warm and moist, it's going to leap on our plants. That's really not the case. So
and another thing to add is, guys, that's where godliness and cleanliness kind of comes into it. If you can just literally just change your clothes and shower before you go into your room, you're not going to try to bring spores in with you. Don't let your pets in your grow room. Just don't bring in unknown clips without actually quarantining and treating like you should. Just play it smart. Don't bring a clip straight into your room so you bring mites straight over, Same difference.
And the mechanical tech is growing stronger. I have a friend. And
if you want old clips, you need to be ready for it. You need to make sure your environment can handle it before you even get it.
You should be able to put your cuts in the microwave soon enough, because that's whether it's UV radiation or infrared radiation, all of the sort of latest studies, because this is a problem for food production, on dealing with this situation, this plant fungi, comes to spectrum and lighting. And so there's sort of a neat discussion there that's for surely can happen in the future.
Yeah, I hear UV lighting really helps a lot with the slowing down the production and killing the powdery mildew also.
Yeah,
There's
UV
actually that makes a UV gun that actually is made for like vegetative crops.
Yeah, UV, like I think it's UVB in the shortwave, maybe like top of the line UVA. Like top wavelength UVA.
That's just crazy.
It's like 210 nanometers to down to 190 nanometers is what they use for sterilization.
I think that's.
I'm like,
I think
you're using
that's
some commercial crops, and it's like 1.5 feet fucking wide. Like, holy shit! Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna swear it's gospel.
I use
but
anytime I bring like a foreign sorry, plant builder. Are you going?
It's okay. I just wanted to iterate that I'm pretty sure the UVA spectrum goes to like 260 to 280 as A and B first. And then C was named later in the 180 to 210 spectrum, and so it's sort of just a sort of anti-logic thing I wanted to interject with, and that's it.
Yeah. Did I say that wrong? Like did I say UVA was the low or short wavelength? Anyways,
No, I heard UVB short wavelength.
okay.
So I was muted. All you said was you mentioned the efficacy of the 180, 190, and I think technically that's UVC.
Yeah. Yeah, that might technically be UVC then. But yeah, I think it's 190 to 210 is like used for sterilization.
That's cool.
And I'm not sure about microwave.
Yeah, that'd be.
I don't know anything about it, but somebody mentioned that.
No, but that's what's in all the fucking dental and hospital sterilization is the 180 UVC spectrum. And so,
clean water with too.
What's funny to me is you guys were talking about the ginger and the lemon and the cinnamon. I of course have cinnamon powder, which won't apply. I don't keep cinnamon bark quite in my shop just yet.
You definitely don't want to
use all of that stuff, and so I easily can make it and start in on that project, but it scares the fuck out of me.
Is that used for sterilization or for quarantine?
No, but spraying your plants with fucking ginger and lemon and shit's gonna be something that lots of people want to do before buying an $80 UVC light.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Probably even more than that, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised. But I was gonna say what I do for quarantine anytime I get a new clone is I have like a tote tray, or no, not like a tote tray, but like a tote, like a 30-gallon tote, basically like a space bucket type configuration.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I just put it in there, and I have a CO2 line ran straight to it, and I run like 75% CO2 in there for like a couple hours a day, a couple times a day for like a week, and it'll kill anything that needs oxygen. I don't know what that'll do for PM because I don't think that needs oxygen to lay dormant, but spider bites and shit.
Slow it down a little bit, but you'll visibly see it. You just need to really look at the clips. Unless you're getting like 50 to 100 at a time, you need to obviously go through them. But if you're getting like 1 or 2 clips, you'll see mites, you'll see mite damage, you'll see. Just kind of look at it real quick, But if your condition, if you don't visibly see it, more than likely you're going to be fine, because even if it's there, it's going to grow out of it in the new condition it's in, and then you can take that old growth off, and then it won't spread. And then rubbing alcohol will actually help with that too. And then the same thing with just straight milk, I hear, actually will help too with powdery mildew. But I like the lacto and all that other shit.
I was gonna say that most of the tough guys have had the ability to choke their rooms with CO2, and if they could eradicate the mildew that way, they would have done so a long time ago.
Yeah. I was gonna say I don't think that would help for mildew because it's a fungus and it can lay dormant. The spores don't need oxygen, but for like spider mites and thrips and shit like that. And granted, those are easier to check for, but I mean, still, like thrips can hang out in your soil.
The current tough guy tech is to nuke your room.
You guys have kind of fucking rose bushes on your property and you walk by them at all, just treat them like you would your fucking cannabis plants. Just take the extra fucking couple of fucking seconds and go out and spray those motherfuckers, because they're very, very adamant for getting powdery mildew. Same thing with grapevines and a few other things. But yeah, the roses are bad. You just touch those fuckers and the spores just go everywhere.
All right, you guys, this is SoCal. I've been just kind of lurking in chat and listening to you guys and feeding my plants and stuff. But I got to get going, so you guys all have a good night.
All right, later, man.
So, good talking, man.
Easy,
Thank you for coming.
Peace, brother. Much love. Yeah, should we wrap up, or what should we do?
I've got nothing to add. Be down for wrapping up.
Yeah, we can wrap up.
Better than me.
PB, any last words? Mike's muted.
I have to go over here. My last words were fuck all y'all, hashtag ice keep it. No, I do have some last words. And it's that we got emotional when I called out the brown guy, but and I don't want to sort of lurk on it, but I do want to sort of defend the ability to look at bud through a visual picture and be able to sort of tell myself an accurate story of how it tastes and how it burns. And it only sort of can take a plethora of experience to really back up such a claim, but I'm sorry that, you know, that's just the way it is. And when I put the metaphor earlier that there of course is on one hand, y'all can't judge a book by its cover. And then on the other hand, there's sort of a caveat that says things only function as good as they look. And that metaphor was taught to me by literally the most expert grow builder, hashtag GMO, that I've ever met, not GMO of course, who trained under, of course, the head engineer of Whistler Blackcomb for his majority of his career, 15 years. And that, you know, so there's realness to that caveat, and it of course isn't complete, like, you know, it's antithetical to the don't judge a book by its cover, but you know, I just want to lay it out there, and I sort of, as much opposement there was to what I said there, I think I'm going to stick to that, and we can get back to it next week and over the many weeks as this relationship grows. But it's truly a real thing. And simply, you know, if I'm not going to get into it, but, you know, being able to depict the burning nature of plants by looking at them is something one should strive to do. Tasting the elements in your cannabis, of course, is something that you need to do. And one thing that I've learned is that your palate and your nose is something that can be trained. It is not simply an inherent device in your body. It's highly elastic. It's highly connected through nerves, your optic and your ophthalmic nerve, or whatever it's called, in your nose. And you can create all sorts of neural connections between not only your eyes, but your nose and what you taste. And so you can practice this, and you can bind all of those three, and especially when you also have such things as knowledge as to what's gone in it, like you literally mix the 6-pack fertilizer that went into the bud and are able to determine and the differences between that and of course these other agglomerate fertilizers out there in the market. You know, that's real. The taste of the liquid in the phloem or xylem, the taste of the liquid that can bypass the gateways, which are very fucking big, is massive. There's a lot of liquid in your fertilizer that is water that's sliding right up inside your plant and being used for the processes. We all taste this. If you don't taste this, like, come on, take a week and think about it. We'll see you next Saturday. And PB out right now.
Exactly.
Love it.
Hell yeah.
Shit. All right, then on that note, I guess we'll catch you Tuesday with Seed Junkies. I think Monster said Canon Genetics is coming on. Gunner 420. Good. Well, I'm not. I have to verify that, but we'll see. And then Wednesday, check out Josh's organic stream. He'll be rocking that. And then maybe Legal will have Pillow Talk going Thursday. And then next Saturday, we're back here.
You.
Right. So, on that note, peace out, y'all.
Have a good night.